lives in Badgerbrook, middle of the night. Sneaking in, observe the scene, staying out of sight. But magic wins with wily whims, command the chaos lore. A tavern flight, a tunnel slide, Leary comes ashore. One-on-one, it has begun, find a way, hello. Run and gun, let's start the fun, shoot away the foe. Leary Rice, the hero's light, a legend to be born. Spin the wheel, seal the deal, let the arrow soar. Look around the tower, surely there is loot. A goblin spins in from above, he wears a speedy boot. A fight ensues, so bruises noosed, companion secured. Snufflap, the goblin's coming in, and he is through. 2 on 2, could it be true? The legend finds its shape. A goblin eats his brother, it is just a normal day. Leary Rice, the hero's light, across white flowers full and bright. Spin the wheel, seal the deal, Scotland know his might. An ocean witch throws a pitch to soothe the ailing soul. Appease the sleeping giant snake, return the pearl once more. Leary dives, gets caught alive, flees and books the pearl. While fighting on the ocean floor, something has occurred. 3 on 3, now who is he? A paladin has come. Lancelot with Arundite, a legion's forged anon. Leary Rice, the hero's light, engulf the northern land. Spin the wheel, seal the deal, go forth a merry band. To Badgerbrook, a tavern sounds just right. Relieve some stress and find some rest, partaking in delight. Instead unknown and eidolon, demanded is their time. A bandit raid, a mother laid, alive with purchase found. Of Corden drew the former slave, the latter turned around. 4 on 4 with howling roar, Rochelle joins the fray. With better calls prepared for all, what is there to say? Leary Rice, the hero's light, engulfs the tavern floor. Spin the wheel, seal the deal, roll the dice once more. Rice, Leary Rice, the hero's light, throughout the endless night. With bow and skull and truth unfold, ready for the fight. Roll the dice, let winds entice, as legend becomes lore. Find your score with help in store, that's what friends are for.
Coming up next on BBC Two, it's the Brad Woto stream, but first, it's time for What is Inside the Amazon Delivery Box?
Oh, is it? Oh, fuck. right, it's time for the pre-prepared what is inside the Amazon delivery box. What is it? What is inside the Amazon delivery box? Is it the hand of Vecna? What could be in there, guys? If you had to take a wild guess and think about it, really think about it, what could possibly be inside the Amazon delivery box? Gamer Girl Farts, Princess Link, a Switch manual, a cool book. Hi Retrosphere, what were you playing this morning? Many raiders coming from the Retrosphere channel. What happened? Did you get all these new viewers? And teach me. A Super Nintendo. What else could it be in there? A plastic wall fixture? Or is it Marvel Snap? Doing bounties? What bounties are available? I would like some bounties. Available. How to watch... Oh, watch How to Train Your Dragon official trailer. That's it. At any point during a stream session for 3 minutes, watch the How to Train Your Dragon official trailer video and discuss it with stream. Is that what you did? I'll watch it. I've never seen... If we can get up to 188 viewers today, I'll do it. What's in the Amazon delivery box? You think it's the Switch manual? Let's have a look. It was the lunchbox and some assorted paper. Idiots.
Coming up next on BBC Two, it's the Brad Woto stream. But first, it's time for What's in the Lunchbox?
Marvel Snap Alliance bounties. You were doing that on stream and you got a shit ton of viewers? I can play Marvel Snap instead of this shit? Ah, I'm changing all of the plans today. But first, it's time for... And got a raid? How do you get raids at this time of day? You gotta teach me. What the fuck? No one gets raided at this time of day. It's a late stream, I think. What is that? We don't know, Bradley. We don't know. Well, it's for you to guess. It's for you to guess. What do you think is inside the lunchbox? Is it an Amazon... Imagine we did this all day, back and forth. An Amazon delivery box, a box of antihistamines, air, bit of a trick one, a pair of glasses that is missing a screw, corn-free Croat lozenge, this... What could be in there, guys? What do you think's inside the lunchbox, Booth Beans? There's an item in there. This is gonna... I'm glad that we've got lots of chat interaction on the day that we do a chat interactive stream. It always fills me with confidence. Shadow's already voting. He's done. Cheese and bacon, a lollipop. One more guess from the chat room. One more guess. Shadow just went, fuck this, I'm voting now. Mattress. Egg. Why am I drunk when I join in this stream? I feel like that's a question that we should be asking you. What time is it for you, Booth Beans? What time is it for you, Booth Beans? 5 a.m. Are you early drinking or late drinking? Go to bed. Can we split the thing here? Don't worry about it, but you brought it up. You wanted me to talk about it. Are we back? Stream burp for a second. Can we split? All right, fine. It's either a pair of glasses or a mattress. It's some garlic, partially used. Yeah, I don't know what happened. The stream disconnected for 1 second. Disconnected for 1 second. Booth Beans, you brought it up. You know, those people that are like, yeah, man, tell you what. I had half of a beer today. I'm pretty buzzed, man. I'm drinking at 5 a.m., man. Drank half a beer at 5 a.m. I'm just that kind of guy. And then you're like, why are you drinking beer at 5 a.m.? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay. You brought it up. You said it. You know? These people. These fucking people. How did you do then, Ratch? Let's have a look at Ratch's score. Let's have a look at Ratch's score. Let's log in. Ratch has got a bit of catching up to do. Greg, I don't understand how Greg has put in the amount of points that he has. Like, I don't understand how unless you're playing it constantly. I'm in Alaska right now, so I drink whenever. Okay. Why does being in Alaska mean you drink whenever? I mean, anyone can drink whenever. That's not limited to Alaska. You can actually just do that whenever you want. Wherever you are in the world. Ratch, 234 cubes. Bounties, 1,575. For a total of 1,809 points. Round of applause for Ratch, please. Brad Woto, 396 cubes. Bounties, 3,750. For a total of 4,146 points. And I've been going pretty hard on the game as well, because I saw Greg pulling away and I was dead. It activated my Predator chase thing. But he somehow has 552 cubes. 7,400 points from bounty for a total of 7,950. He's on 8k. That's double me. Aaron also joined, but has contributed absolutely nothing so far. Very disappointing. Let's see where we are in the alliance. We've got to earn 1,100. What have we got to get? 120,000. We've got to get 120,000 points for the blue cosmic border. We're at 13,000. Can we get on? Can we get on it, please? I don't know how Greg is doing it. I know he's got a baby and he's probably just like sat there like, you know, with the baby all night. But it's a large amount of time he's sunk in. I don't know, like it's crazy that he's got double. Like he must be snapping at the beginning of every match and winning every match. And just somehow also completing every bounty the first try. And just getting a new one. It's crazy. It's an insane rate that he's playing at. Or he's just sinking just an unreal amount of hours into the game. But I don't understand how he's doing other things. Pretty weird. I have been pretty busy though, to be fair. I feel like I've been playing it a lot, but actually I haven't. I've been doing a lot of writing. Writing and writing and writing. You've been writing, and you've been writing. And you've been writing till you can't write no more. And your hands, they crumble. And your wrist, it breaks. And then you write a few words more. Huh? How can you write if you've got no hands? Actually, a lot of people don't have hands and they're successful writers. Oh, are we living in the modern era and I just don't know it because I was raised by a bunch of Neanderthal men, boomers.
Hey, it's me, Fist of the Walrus.
Bear of Flame, what are you excited about? The thing I'm writing, I've just realized what you're excited about. The thing that I'm writing, the thing I was just talking about and immediately forgot about instantly. Yeah. Yeah, I've been setting up Foundry. Spent a lot of money on Foundry over the weekend. Did I buy a mattress? No. Did I spend a lot of money on the virtual tabletop Foundry? Yes. Officially made my next campaign in Foundry. It's officially cast and it officially has characters. The characters are made. It's exciting. Is that exciting for you? It's exciting for Bear. It's just me and Bear of Flame. Everyone else doesn't give a shit. I could be saying anything right now and they wouldn't give a shit, to be fair. You know, I could be like, by the way, just so you know, I'm actually expecting my first child. I've kept our whole relationship secret. Me and Penny are having a baby, and then everyone would just be like, we don't give a fuck. We don't give a shit about anything you're saying. Except for Bear of Flame, who is like, is it about D&D? I'm in. I'm in. How come you have a heart next to your name, Penny? What is that? Share the love? First of all, share some of that love with me. Second of all, don't be sharing your love with other people. We're expecting our first son. So yeah, it's cast, it's got characters. I know you might be thinking, oh, the characters are made, that means the show will be in a week. Because when we run D&D games, or I play D&D games with my friends, we make characters and then play either that day or like within the next week. Not on a table story show. Well, it's a really weird process because you have to make the characters like extremely early. Like I make characters sometimes like 2-3 months in advance. Sometimes I would imagine I've probably done it longer than that before. Because we have to get art commissioned. And you've got to give time for the artist, whoever it is, to craft that artwork. I'm having some custom tokens made for this campaign as well. So you end up, it's a weird process because you write a lot of what you're prepping. Then you do a character creation. And then everyone waits. Everyone gets really excited about their character. They're looking at their character sheets. And then you're like, oh, you don't get to use that for a long time. It's a bit like being a GM. And then you write the rest of the campaign. I also had to produce like a lot of the assets for the show because we record our session zeros. So I had to produce like all of the overlay and stuff. It's pretty simple. It's pretty basic at the moment. Obviously, we're missing, you know, it's a weird one because you don't have character names and I don't have artwork to put on the screen and stuff. But yeah, I had to pretend a lot of that stuff. There's no intros or anything. It's just I made a little stinger. So it's really weird. You end up making like a half of the campaign, then doing character creation stuff, then making the other half of the campaign and the show. You know, when I say campaign, I also mean the show. Then you run the show. And it's strange because a lot of the time you'll make a character when you're a player in a show like Table Story Show. You make a character and then you go the fuck away for 2 months. And a lot of people, myself included, are quite ADHD with it. So by the time you actually get around to playing that character, you're like, oh, I made that character 2 months ago. I don't like them anymore. I want to play a different character. I want a new character. This one, I came up with this 2 months ago when I was playing Kingdom Come Deliverance. He's called Henry. And I'm not playing that anymore, so I don't care. My character that I made is like partially a spider, and his name is Peter. And I'm no longer playing Spider-Man 2 on PS5, and I don't want it to be my character anymore. I'm playing League of Legends, and I want my character to be Rengar. Legends, by the way, I said. And that is because my nose and my throat are still fucked up. Felix K. Thank you for the subscription. Subs are counting towards the spin wheel, don't worry. I know a lot of you get nervous about resubbing on a Sunday in case it doesn't count towards the spin wheel. It is counting towards the spin wheel. I wonder if I can bring it up. No. I tried. What's the spin wheel? Don't you worry about it. Okay? We're doing 5 a.m. drinking. That's all. Yeah, I still feel rough. My sister texted me yesterday and was like, bruh, do you still feel rough? Because I'm dying. And I was like, yeah. Why won't it go away? It felt like it was going away and then it just plateaued. Like, I feel better, but it hasn't gone away. It's still just in me, the disease. She's like, yeah. The fuck is this? Just still there, lingering. And it's not doing that thing where you're like, okay, it's kind of going down. Usually with a cold, you get all the symptoms and then it's the worst for 1 or 2 days, and then all the symptoms stay in you until they go away one by one over the course of the next following few days. And it just hasn't done that. They're just less intense. Fucking annoying. What a horrible disease that I've been given. You know what I love? Being unwell. For a long time. You know what I love? Being unwell for 6 months straight, then feeling better for a month, and then getting unwell again. I love it. What the fuck? I had bread. Yes. We don't give a shit if you drop dead right now. We could not give a fuck about anything you are saying or doing on this stream. I know. Being someone where you don't even realize it anymore. Dude, I have no idea what it feels like to be 100%. I have not felt like 100%, just like normal, like nothing, like just no headache, no cold, no allergic reaction, no heart problem, no sinus issue, no sore throat, you know, none of this stuff. I haven't not had any symptoms since May of 2024. That's fucking crazy. Even in January when I was feeling better, I didn't feel amazing. I didn't feel 100%. I was still gassing out and still going into the hospital and stuff. I've got another doctor appointment in a week. I think it's on a GTA day. I think it's on a Wednesday. Might be the 26th. To go in because he needs to tidy up all the other things wrong with me, because we dealt with the major issues, but I have all these minor things wrong with my body. My body just was like shutting down for 6 months, so it creates all these like little shitty things, like the thing in my eyeball, just all these weird little issues that I have to go in and see him about now, and tidy up the rest of the issues while I wait to go and see a fucking cardiovascular specialist. My life is great. My life is so great, dude. I mean, I've really got no complaints, you know? Everything about my life is just going so well. I got things to be positive about. I'm actually I'm finally like kind of debt free, which is really actually just incredibly annoying that I even had to be in the first place. But last year was so fucked for me financially because of Merlin dying. Number one. Merlin dying and then having to pay that off at the same time as paying my tax, and then trying desperately to scramble the money together to pay my next installment of tax in July, and then paying that off was it took me the whole year to recover from all of that, all those money issues. And thankfully I'm not like flush or nothing, you know. I'm not bowling around in a Maserati or anything like that, but I'm like not as stressed about rent next month, you know. It's nice to be back at the point where I'm like, okay, rent is, you know, coming in, and I don't have to just sit there being a fucking shaking, pissing wreck about money every fucking week. I hate worrying about money as well, because I just don't care about it. People that are obsessed with money, one way or the other, whether it be those fucking sociopaths that are trying to become millionaires, or whether it's those just like fucking, you know, council house fucking smoking in the kitchen complaining about money types, you know, your Aunt Sharon, Aunt Karen sitting in the kitchen.
I ain't got enough money to be able to fucking pay for the broken door.
I just don't want to be that person. I've never been that person, and I don't like being that person that's just constantly complaining about money, or even just worrying about it. I hate worrying about it because it's just an anxiety feeling. But just when all you can talk about is money because you're just so under it, you become so dull and boring. And I just don't want to be that. And I don't care about money. I've never been one of those people that's motivated particularly by money. I was born into a world where they went, oh, this system was set up fucking so long ago, in which we live by this strange set of rules that was invented, where someone once a long time ago invented something called currency, and we just trade in that. And also a bunch of very smart people in the world pretty much control all of that, and you are enslaved to it. And I went, huh? But I don't care about that. That's not how I would live my life. I'm a human being who, surely I have one go at this and I can do what I want. Like, but there are rules? What do you mean there are rules? It's my life. I want to do what I want to do. No, there's a system and I'm in it, and I'm just enslaved to this thing that you've invented. Cool. Fuck, that's annoying. Holy shit, that's annoying. So now I have to have an anxiety attack about rent? You're telling me there's enough food to go around, but we paywall it. What? You know? I've just never been that guy. I'm like a burn it down anarchy, fucking kill the rich type. But he just don't have a choice. He don't have a choice. So it really annoys me. So I really hated last year for that as well. The impact that it has on my personality. Kill the rich. Starbucks. Starbucks mug. I mean, look, I've always said, I'm in the system, so I'm in the system. I'm not going to make it more difficult for myself. All right? It's either 100% or I'm just in. I'm okay with corporate takeover of the entire world. Get rid of government. Just give it to the fucking corporations. If it means I get my Amazon delivery package quicker, great. I'm not going to swim against the grain just for the sake of it. It just makes my life annoying. Or you want me to make my own Tupperware? No, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it. If the system exists and I'm stuck in it, I'm stuck in it. And I'll contribute to it to make my life easier. If we're going in, I'm all in. I'll fucking paint up AK and I'll kill every single fucking millionaire or above. I'm in. I'll rip apart the system, structure, everything, bring it down, and we can rebuild. But if we're not all in and we're not actually setting fires and wrecking everything fully, I'm not bothering. I'm not bothering. I'm not doing it. I'll have my Starbucks mug, thank you. You know, that's it. I've got 2 gears. I'm fucking lazy as fuck. And I just show my belly. No, I'm not fighting. I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered to fight. I just want to watch my Amazon TV show and drink my Starbucks from my Starbucks mug on my fucking overpriced internet. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not involved. I don't care. I get it. You're all arguing, but I don't care. I just want to play video games. Or let's fucking go. Fire bombs. That's it. 2 gears. Shaiko, you've been sick for a year? Oh god, it's so annoying. Stress, yeah. I think a lot of mine is anxiety as well. Because I think anxiety supercharges any actual illness I have. Which sounds pathetic, I know, but it's just, it's so annoying. There's nothing I can do about it. I think I've just destroyed my brain. My brain was wrecked in childhood from trauma. I think I fucked it up with drugs as well. I think, because I think about this a lot. I'm like, I used to be fucking crazy. I used to be hardcore. Like, I wasn't afraid of anything. I would just take a bunch of drugs and go outside and just fucking do whatever. Jump in the fucking river. I didn't care. Walk out in front of traffic. It was nuts. But now I'm like the exact opposite. I'm like hyper guarded, hyper anxious, and super worried about everything all of the time. Taking my supplements and being very careful about my health. And I think some of it is that I did my brain in with drugs. I think like that lifestyle has come back to bite me in the arse a little bit because I think it sort of shredded my mind apart slightly. So I have the trauma, the shredded drug mind, and then also more trauma. And like everyone gets a bit more anxious as they get older because you become more and more aware. So I just have become fucking crazy and it's very annoying, but I do think it supercharges my sickness because if I'm I've had medical anxiety. So if I have a little cough, I'm like, oh, that's it, lung cancer. As opposed to everyone else who just go, neurotypical normies who will just be like, oh, I have a cough, I've probably got a cold. My mind jumps immediately to the worst possible scenario until proven otherwise, which can be a matter of weeks, like I can be in just an absolute fucked up state about it for a long time. Yeah, it's very annoying. And I've been really trying to break my OCDs and exposure therapy myself, licking Amazon boxes and stuff. To be fair, that was old Brad. Every now and then he comes out to play. Old Brad shows up and does some mad shit. It's very annoying actually, because I do sometimes have this kind of like multiple personality approach to my life where one day I'll be new Brad and sometimes old Brad will just rear his head and do some mad shit. And I'm like, why did you say that? Why did you do that? My friends used to browse the dark web for entertainment. I never even Googled it. I don't know if I've been on the dark web. I don't think I would have been afraid of it a long time ago, but I wouldn't go fucking near it now. And it's not that I'm afraid of what's on the dark web as opposed, like, not of seeing something. It's like, I just assume that if I log into a dark web site or something, that they will immediately have access to my computer and everything. And they will own me, It's like just opening the door for Mr. Robot to get in and just start fucking controlling my life. Or just like, I don't know, searching through my entire history in a way that I can't comprehend because I'm too stupid to comprehend how much of my life you can pull from having access to my computer and my accounts and stuff. So, they could probably hack into conversations that I had on Skype 15 years ago and then use it against me in some way, you know. I get scared of stuff like that because there is no doubt that there is more than enough cancelable stuff out there from conversations that millennials had when we were on MSN in our teens, that because there's time compression on the internet. If you did something when you were 16 and you're now 45, you can be cancelled for it. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. So I've always been petrified of that because I was mad. I was crazy. Who knows what the fuck I did? I mean, I know that I've never done anything outright heinous. You know what I mean? There are like legit things that people do where I'm like, yeah, you deserve to be cancelled. And I don't think I've ever done anything that I would consider to be cancelable exactly, but I'm sure I've said things, and I'm sure that I've made jokes, and I'm sure that I've probably made some questionable decisions in my teens and early years. And you know, I was on drugs and doing mad shit, and I was trying to say the funny thing all the time. These fucking 21-year-olds that come into the chat room and they're trying to be the funniest guy in the room, and we all find it so cringy. That was definitely me at 21. I was probably more funny than a lot of them are, but it's still annoying. A 21-year-old vying for attention will always be the most annoying thing in the world, whether they're funny about it or not. And like when you bring stuff that we were all saying to each other, probably from 20 years ago forward, I can't even. I mean, there's stuff that I said 5 years ago that's just still on VODs on this channel that I'm like, I would never say it now. We change and we grow, but the internet doesn't care. The internet has time compression enabled, so it doesn't matter. You know, they'll just get you for it, and people love to be outraged, and none of them actually give a shit. But I think it's getting a little better, all that cancel culture stuff. But the things that I just have no concept. If I logged into the dark web, someone fucking just ruling my life from that point onwards. You know, I've got all your DMs with Orcish. I'm going to spill them. No, please, it's just us sending dick pics to each other. Exactly. I'm 99.9% sure I've never sent a dick pic. I'm trying to go back all the way back to like first phone was able to take a picture, you know. So I think I'm at least safe with that. Can't handle the normal web with a few swipes on Instagram without. Yeah, that's true. We were talking about that. You'll just be fucking scrolling through Instagram, and then you'll be like, haha, that was a cute dog video. Haha, nice. What a funny animation about paper clips. Cat being microwaved. Fuck, dude. I didn't want to see that this morning. Jesus. Now my day's ruined. Imagine using it and summoning a demon to your home. Oh, is that what you're worried about? I'm obviously not worried about that. Everyone is smarter than me. And those people that are smarter than you, it's very hard for you to comprehend what they're able to do with your information. You know, just because you can't hack into other people's accounts doesn't mean that people can't hack into yours. And I'm really not sure what that looks like, you know. It's all skewed for me because I'm sure that hacking doesn't look anything like what it looks like in Hollywood. But I'm sure that with access to some of my accounts, maybe if you gained access, cracked my passwords and stuff, you'd probably get access to quite a lot of stuff that I've forgotten about. You know, like old MySpace accounts, Facebook. I don't use those websites and stuff anymore. And who the fuck knows what's on there? I don't know. I was saying crazy shit for laughs or for chicks, you know, flirting with a girl over Facebook DMs or messages or whatever it was called. I was probably saying some weird shit just to try and get a laugh. You know, if I can make this pretty girl laugh, I'll say almost anything. If there is an attractive person within 15 feet of me, my need to be funnier activates like 110%. I can't help it. It's just natural survival, I think. Some form of weird biological natural survival where the part of my brain that's like, we must breed with Chris Evans activates. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? Stand over there and be pretty like him? No. I have to start making jokes, you know. And now, I don't do it as much, obviously. But when I was younger, oh, fuck knows what I was saying to people to try and get a laugh, you know. I would have said anything. I also just have never given a fuck about words. I still don't. I'm just afraid of you. I'm afraid of everyone else. I don't think words are a big deal. I think actions have always been more dangerous to me than words. And so I just didn't give a fuck. You know, I was brought up in a town where people didn't care about those kinds of things. I was brought up by a family that were like, look, don't punch people, but you can make jokes about punching people all day. Just don't do it. And don't do it in a threatening way. Do it in a funny way. And if you don't think you're being funny, you're probably not being funny, so shut the fuck up. Or say it and get punched, you know? You can't be responsible for other people's actions, and an action is saying something. So if you say something, that is kind of an action. Disprove your own point. That's why I'm not a smart guy. You know what I mean. My Facebook was full of cringy teenager pics. Yeah, I would quite like to get into my MySpace for that. I think I would very happily. I'd probably have to do a quick vet of it just in case, but I think I'd very happily go through my MySpace on stream one day. I think it would be hilarious to look at the absolute state of what would it have been, early 20s, late teens? MySpace? Fuck, man. MySpace was insane. You had your top 5 people and a song played when you went onto the onto their page. You could load a song on, and it was just so important that you had the right song on there. Fuck knows what I had on there, Avenged Sevenfold or something fucking embarrassing. Do you remember? Yeah, man, my like cover picture was like the most emo picture of me that had been like photoshopped in the worst possible way, smoking a blunt, probably. Just trying to look cool.
Does anyone remember Pixo?
No. How old are you, Penny? I've never even heard of Pixo. What is that? Did that come after me? You're 31? Okay, yeah. So it was probably in my blind spot that you were on Pixo. I was probably on drugs, hiding in the bottom floor of a weird club somewhere in London. It was like MySpace, but you made your own website. Never heard of it, Penny. Grow up, you loser. I'm gonna sit down because my legs hurt already. I'm gassed. That's it. That's the end of the set. That's the end of the set, everyone. Oh, it's been 45 minutes. Wow, that went quick. I'm still a bit tired, innit? Body's still a bit knackered, bruv. It's a physical thing. Mentally, I feel pretty okay today. I had a lot of work to do yesterday. It was really quite a mentally taxing day. I also woke up so early. I think I had like 4 or 5 hours sleep Friday into Saturday. And it wasn't like, sometimes I wake up and Jesus, it's so bright. What is going on with this fucking thing lately? Oopoo hoodoo. Oopoo hoodoo. Just such a Neanderthal, isn't it? A caveman. Me oopoo. You hoodoo. Thanks for the sub, my friend. Yeah, sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and it's because I'm freaking out, you know what I mean? Like I've had a nightmare like a fucking 10-year-old, and it's caused me to go into full fight or flight, and I'm now having a full-blown panic attack, and then I wake up filled to the brim with cortisol, and I either have to wait for that to drain from my system or accept the fact that my entire day is written off because I'm fucked. But I just woke up at like 6 o'clock yesterday morning, and I tossed and turned a bit and was just like, why am I awake? And I just felt fine but awake, and so I just got up and just started my day. But it meant that I was quite tired for what was a very long day for me yesterday. I had a lot work to do, which I got done. You know, normally I like to try and take Saturday off, and when I say take a day off, I mean legitimately really do nothing, just try and actually have a relaxing day, whether it's, even if it's just sitting here playing games, or whether it's laying on my sofa or going for a steak with Liam, you know, an actual day off where I'm not sat here trying to be the fucking funny guy. And I'm not working on something for Table Story or running a show or something, which is what a lot of my days are. You might think that my only job is sitting here for fucking 2 hours acting like a prick, but you know, I put in a good chunk of hours for Table Story as well. It's hard, man. It's hard to run a company. Even a small little indie company like Table Story, it's fucking hard work, man. It's weird. Yeah, so I didn't get yesterday off, which is a bit annoying because I think it's going to catch up with me because I don't feel too well still. Still feel a bit rough. I mean, last weekend and I took off entirely, but I was sick. I was laying around watching Beast Games, which I watched the end of yesterday. Fuck, that was cringy. Did anyone watch Beast Games? I obviously won't say anything about it. But that final episode was a tough watch because of the cringe. The cringe was off the fucking scale for the finale for some reason. It was hard for me to watch. Is that American, cheesy American cringe that's just very difficult for the rest of the world to watch. I think probably a lot of Americans as well. How do you drain cortisol? If I'm honest with you, man, this is the thing that this is my war. There is no way to do it, is my answer. Oh, Hedros, why would you do this to me? Why would you do this to me? Oh, it didn't register, thank God. I don't think there is a way to drain cortisol. I just think you have to suck it up and you just have to wait for it to go away. There is stuff online. I've done a lot of different... I did a big, long... This has been a legitimate war that I've been in. And there's loads of stuff that's like, do a little workout and, you know, eat this and that, you know. But I just don't think you can, because I think it's just straight up a physical thing. There's no medicine that you can take, which I wish there was. Like, I just need them to a cortisol dampening pill would be so fucking useful for me. But the problem is we need cortisol for quite a lot. So even if it's possible, I don't think that they would release it. Let's have a look. How to drain cortisol, because you need it. One of the problems with cortisol is that it's the thing that wakes you up in the morning. If you're not a fucking psychopath, the reason that you're laying there and you're asleep and then you wake up is because your body releases a little bump of cortisol to get you to wake up, which for me means that every morning I wake up in a state of like mild anxiety minimum. I do not wake up without anxiety anymore. And it's very annoying, because it means that if I have something to be legitimately anxious about, or my body is going through some sort of anxious period, I will wake up in a state of just incredibly overwhelming dread. I'll be basically having like a full-blown anxiety attack, and it's the first thing that happens because my body is already filled with cortisol, and I'm already struggling to sleep and everything, and I'm already having a fight or flight thing, and my body is just launching cortisol into my body constantly. And then it gives me the extra bit of cortisol so that I can wake up, which I don't need, but it doesn't know how to not do that because it's caught in a circadian rhythm. 13 natural ways to lower your cortisol. Let's have a look. Lower stress. Cool, thanks, useful. Try relaxation techniques, breathing exercises, guided meditation. So this won't actually lower cortisol, but I think it does stop the body from launching more in. I would say this does nothing, but if you are able to engage breathing exercises or meditation, or you're able to do these things, yoga and stuff, it is one of the best ways to fucking chill the fuck out, because your body's just going crazy, right? You're just like, and your body essentially thinks it's running. It's like an adrenaline bump, and you have anxiety, especially if you're having like a full-blown panic attack, but just having a lot of cortisol in your body. This, I think, is more about, this will reduce your brain from being stressed out, which will stop your body from releasing more cortisol, but I do not believe for a second this reduces what's already in there. Balanced diet, I don't know. I, again, haven't found that fatty acids and cultured foods honestly have even made a dent on my stress levels. And by the way, this is not to say that it won't work for you. Everyone's body is different, and your body might react to things. Like, for example, I don't actually have a huge spike of anxiety when I drink caffeine. Caffeine can quite often reduce my anxiety because a lot of my anxiety can come from being tired. If my body is tired, whether I'm sick or whether I haven't had enough sleep or something, I kind of end up in this kind of like sleepy, dreamy state, and it allows my imagination to have a bit too much power over what's going on. So I worry more, and my imagination is so good that it can just start ruminating and creating scenarios that are bad. So it will increase my intrusive thoughts, basically. And actually, sometimes if I drink caffeine, not a lot of it, obviously a lot is going to raise your heart rate, and once your heart rate goes up, that's going to add to the thing. But just a little for me can actually take the edge off for me, and it wakes me up a little bit mentally and stops me from falling into that state. So I'm not saying that don't try all this stuff. I'm just telling you what works for me, and who knows, maybe you have the same thing. These sort of things do not make a dent. Specific foods and stuff. I do find, however, that sugar massively spikes my anxiety. If I'm in a state of anxiety, I avoid sugar like the plague. And so that will extend to, like normal food as well. I don't, I have a pretty good diet now. I eat a lot of the same stuff, and it's kind of boring, but it's not really bad for you. I don't eat any takeout. I don't eat burgers. I don't eat, McDonald's and pizzas and stuff. Now, this is really not a choice that I made for anxiety exactly. It was just a choice that came through the fact that I'm fucking allergic to everything, and it's just not worth it for me not to eat this way. But I have found that, like, having a better diet, eating a lot more vegetables, eating fresh and relatively clean, less sugar, less saturated fats and processed foods, has definitely improved my mood a little. And I think for me it's significant with sugar, but I also think that sometimes if you eat like a whole pizza, you ever eat a whole fucking greasy pizza to yourself and then you just feel like shit? Not mentally exactly, but you're just like a slug. You become slug blood. You get slug blood and you're fucking fat and lazy and slow. I think that's bad if you're in a state of anxiety. So I do think that eating a balanced diet does help. But in terms of lowering cortisol levels, I don't think this does shit. Because I don't think there's anything that can lower cortisol levels. I don't think it's possible. I think you just have to wait for the thing to be gone. Avoid caffeine, yeah. Getting enough sleep. I mean, this is hilarious. Cortisol is the thing that wakes you up and keeps you awake. So it is impossible to fall asleep when you have high cortisol levels in your blood. This is my war. So this is just annoying. This is basically like saying smile more to a person with depression. Maintaining a good bedtime routine. I believe this is incredibly important. Again, because for me, a massive anxiety spiker is lack of sleep. I would say maybe number one for me. If I have a couple of nights of disturbed sleep, not because of stress, but because of something, maybe I go to sleep one night and something's waking me up. There's like noise or something. And then the next day I go to sleep again and something else happens. I wake up in the middle of the night because someone's knocking on the door or my phone's ringing or, whatever. Some bullshit wakes me up. If that happens too many nights in a row, I will then get anxiety because I get anxiety for some reason so badly when I haven't had enough sleep. If my body is tired, my mind gets tired, and I think it's that fucking Star Trek Shields thing. I start diverting power to all the wrong places, and I have to take power away from Shields to power the fact that I need just a little more energy to get through the day because I'm a bit more tired. And I think when I take that energy away from manually holding up the shields that are stopping me from going crazy, then I go crazy and my anxiety spikes really badly. It's really very annoying because I have to have this fucking really boring old man bedtime routine just to ensure that I don't suffer just low level anxiety, which for me is bad because if I get anxiety, then my cortisol levels start rising, I start ruminating, I find it more difficult to sleep, and then it becomes a little fucking Ouroboros of a snake eating itself because I can't feel better because I need sleep, and I can't sleep because I'm awake, ruminating and worried and OCD and just fucking losing my mind. So one of the ways that I combat my anxiety every day, it's one of the only things that I really, some of the other stuff I will let slip, you know, I'll be feeling better. I baked some cookies today and I just ate fucking 2 of them right before this stream. And they're big. And, you know, I'm like, sugar's great. I don't give a shit. And then the anxiety comes back and I'm like, no more sugar. Throw all the sugar out of the house. But I don't fuck with sleep anymore at all for me. For me, I do make sure that I have a good routine for sleeping. It's a bit in depth though. Does it lower cortisol? No, it doesn't do nothing, cortisol, because the cortisol's in you. I don't believe there's anything. Taking up a hobby, I mean, sure. Creative writing, cooking, crafting, drawing, playing a musical instrument. I do think these are good ones. But again, I think these are more mental. This is more mindfulness things. I do not believe for a second that this is reducing cortisol. All of these are reducing stress. They're reducing anxiety, but they're not reducing the cortisol level in your body. I don't believe it. Maybe a balanced diet will definitely do that. There are certain foods I think that can generate more cortisol through the body through something. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, this is just good for keeping your mind off stuff. I think for me, again, anxiety wise, if I can just concentrate on something else. This is why I play a lot of like Marvel Snap or Hearthstone, or it's why I play, or I'll sit and be like, hey guys, you want to play PUBG? And just keep my mind distracted, because I'll stop sitting. If I sit by myself in a room with my own thoughts, if I'm in an anxious state, I will just ruminate over the worst possible outcomes and make myself feel worse. I would add into this fucking tidying up and stuff as well. I'm a big fan of like a tidy up. I try and do a little 10-minute tidy up every day just because I find it to be very grounding. I think the act of moving a little bit, moving your body a little bit around, doing something that is taking my mind off of, like, you have to think a little bit about what you're doing, but not enough that it's draining. But I think significantly it's the act of like picking stuff up, washing a dish, hoovering, you know, vacuum cleaning, folding some clothes. That act is very grounding because you're picking stuff up and you're interacting with things rather than sitting there and spacing out. So I find tidying up to be another one that's obviously it's not a hobby, but that is a good stress reducer, or, you know, just a little anxiety reducer that gets your mind off of things. If you can get out of your own brain for an hour, you'll feel so much better. It's very, very difficult to do though, because you're trapped in here with you, right? That's the problem. You're fucking Rorschach in the prison. If you can get out of that brain cell, the prison cell with your own shitty self for an hour, you'll find that your body gets used to not being stressed and anxious about the thing you were being anxious about, and you're able to fall back into a regulated state. And if you can get into a regulated state, then you can be more objective and more logical about what you were worried about. Maybe you'll have a bit more of a defense to stop it from going again. For me, once the ball is rolling, it's very hard to make it stop. And, you know, we're just on the train until the train stops. And it could be an hour, it could be weeks, I don't know. Laughing and having fun. You know what's very easy to do when you're losing your mind and going crazy and you've got an astonishing amount of cortisol in your blood? Just having a good, just smile, you know. Exercising, fully agree. I think this one probably has to be the only thing in here that actually genuinely probably does reduce your cortisol levels, but it also increases them. So you've got to be careful about when you do it. I think when your body, when you're working out, your body releases cortisol. But I think that that's good because when for me, what I assume the situation here is that you have a bunch of cortisol in your body because you're stressed or anxious. You then do a workout which releases more cortisol, but you're busy while that's happening, so you don't spaz out too much. And then your body is aware that it's finished working out, so it starts removing the cortisol, or like I assume you piss cortisol out, but I don't actually know how it gets rid of it. It starts processing and flooding away all of the cortisol, and it floods away some of the cortisol that you had in you from earlier on from the thing you were stressed about. So you trick your body into thinking that all it did was be exercising and not be stressed about this other thing. And so, yeah. And obviously exercising releases a bunch of different hormones that will make you feel better. You often will feel better about yourself for having accomplished something like exercising. If you can exercise and eat something, you'll be in a really good position for the rest of the day. The problem is that exercising is one of the most difficult things to motivate yourself to do. Honestly, ever, but also especially if you're in a bad state of mind. It's borderline impossible for me to do, and I do think it is as close to the cure as you can get that isn't, medical help in some way. It's just so, I know a lot of people struggle to believe this about when you're watching someone who has depression or anxiety or something, and you don't have it, and you're just like, if you go for a run, you'll feel better. And it's like, I know that, but I cannot physically get my body to stand up. And also, I think if I run, I'm going to pass out. My heart is fucking going crazy. If I tried to do a little fucking exercise, I think I'd potentially just fucking fall over and die. It's a horrible position to be in, but it is so effective. And I actually do think this probably would clear some cortisol from your body, because I think for me it tricks my body in getting rid of some excess cortisol. I don't know, but that's my theory, and I don't care if all of this is placebo. If it works for me, it works. Building good relationships. Fuck off. Getting a pet. Yeah, this is true, right? They did a study. It's not reducing cortisol, I don't know, but they did do a study that when you have a pet, especially if you have a pet from a young age, for example, if you get a puppy and you form a bond with it, it produces the exact same response in our brains as a parent does with a child, which is why I think we get those like crazy dog mums and dog dads and stuff, where they're like, this is my son. And I get it. I feel I had a son as well, and it feels very similar, because our brains are actually forming the exact same thing. I read a study about it not too long ago, where they were like, yeah, this is why. And in doing that, I think you get a dopamine. I think it's dopamine. No, it might be serotonin. I can't remember. But you get a dopamine or a serotonin bond. And so actually when you see one another, and your dog will get this as well. I don't know about other creatures. You will probably form this bond with like a cat or a rat or something, but I don't know if the cat forms it with you, but I know dogs do. Dogs will form this same bond, and you will get a little bump of serotonin, or a little bump of dope. It's probably serotonin from seeing one another. So when you see your dog and when your dog sees you, you actually do get a little teaspoon of happy hormone from that. And so a pet is a really good idea, because especially I think for people with long-term depression, if you have the means and the ability to look after a dog and care for it properly, then this is actually true. You actually do form that kind of bond. You can look it up. I don't know the study, but I swear to God that's true. Lowering cortisol levels though? No, it doesn't lower cortisol levels, does it? It just gives you a little fucking oxytocin bump. Stopping smoking? No idea. If I'm honest. If I had to be brutally honest. Smoking's probably nice. It's obviously horrendously bad for you, but a cigarette will reduce stress in the short term, much like one beer would do. It's the excess that's bad for you. If you have 10 beers, you're suicidal. If you have one beer, it takes the edge off. The problem is you can only do one beer for a little while before you need two to make the same to end up with the same feeling of having the edge taken off. And then you need 3, and then now you're addicted to alcohol in order to try and chase this dragon, and eventually it's just diminishing returns. And I say this as someone who is a fucking recovered addict. I know what that dragon is, but I would go so far as to say that this does nothing for cortisol levels, and if anything, probably just makes you feel better. The amount of times I just wish that I could have a cigarette. I walked past someone the other day, and I haven't smoked since I was like 26 or 27 or something like that. So like a decade probably. I think I probably had my last cigarette like a decade ago, maybe a little longer. And I walked past a guy. I had to walk under this little like fucking tunnel thing, and at the other end of it there was just a guy on his phone smoking a cigarette. And I walked past him, and the smell of that fucking cigarette smoke, oh god, I felt so. I almost turned around and was like, give me that cigarette, son. It's rough, man. It's hard, but yeah, I reckon probably smoking will make you feel better. One cigarette. The fucking Ben Affleck meme where he's standing outside. So alright, fuck this one. I'm not saying start smoking it. It's definitely not worth it. If you're anxious, don't start smoking. You'll just feel sick. Taking supplements. So for me, I think the only supplement that works for this effectively is either something you're deficient in. So a lot of people who are deficient in potassium or iron or magnesium or whatever, take that thing and you'll suddenly recognize that your mood bumps up, and it's because you're simply deficient in it. From what I have been reading over the last couple of years, everyone is a bit deficient in something, and a lot of people who are they just feel a bit down. They're not necessarily suffering like intense depression or anxiety or whatever, but they're having these issues. They just need a bit more magnesium in their system, or they need a little iron or something like that. They start taking it and they're just healed of a mental health issue that's been plaguing them for fucking years. So go and do a test first, and go and see. I'm gonna go and get one done soon because I had so much medical stuff going on last year. I didn't get it done, but I was talking to Liam about. We're going to do a little trip, and I'm going to go and get my bloods done by like just an external company that just do an intense test on these kinds of levels, because I'm very curious with myself. I got my bloods done by the NHS, and you know, in general they seem fine, but I want a specific thing. Reducing cortisol levels, I don't know, but I find that by far the most effective supplement for feeling better is vitamin D. Vitamin D is crazy. It genuinely is the only supplement I've taken ever where I've taken it and the next day I feel better. I just feel a little better. It isn't an enormous change. It isn't huge. It isn't like a world fucking just like, oh, I'm cured. But there is a significant difference between when I am and when I am not taking vitamin D. I take vitamin D all through winter, yeah, just to offset the lack of sunshine. But I will take it throughout the year when I'm just having a down week. It's really only good for if you just feel a little bummed out. It will take the edge off of that. If you're having a very intense depressive episode, or you're having, you know, extreme anxiety, it's not going to do much. But if you're anything like me, when you're in those episodes, you'll do anything to take 0.01% of that damage, pain, sensation away. I think vitamin D is amazing. I take an omega-3 vitamin D thing now. I would say for sleeping, you can also do L-theanine or magnesium glycinate. I think those two are also very good for helping you sleep. If I'm struggling a little bit for sleep, I will get on the magnesium. Usually I get on magnesium. For me, L-threonate sometimes makes my dreams a bit more vivid, and I suffer really badly with nightmares. So I don't really enjoy having vivid dreams. So I don't tend to be on the L-threonate as much. But no, theanine, not threonate. Theanine is the one. L-theanine is what I was talking about then. Sorry. Magnesium threonate or magnesium glycinate is the other one. But magnesium is good. Magnesium is another one that I find, it doesn't really, for me, it doesn't affect my mood at all. But it does help me to sleep pretty consistently. So I'm a fan of magnesium. I also find theanine to be has about the same level of potency for helping me fall asleep. I just find that it makes my dreams a bit more intense. I'm going to do supplement reviews soon, by the way. If you're interested in... This conversation was probably really boring for a lot of people. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard me say all this stuff before. And it's very subjective. This is very subjective. But I've been kind of on this for a couple of years now. I've really been fucking testing a lot of these things. And I feel pretty confident in a lot of the stuff that I just spoke about being pretty useful. Breathing exercises I'm a big fan of. Balanced diet has been helping me. Figuring out, maintaining a good bedtime routine. Finding ways to ground yourself when you're having anxiety. Exercising is, everyone knows it's good for them, it's just hard to do. This was interesting for me. I almost bought a Chihuahua because of it. And then I've taken a lot of supplements recently. And I don't just take them. I've been doing as close to science as I can possibly manage on myself. In that I will stop taking other supplements and then exclusively get onto one supplement at a time. And just measure how that feels, and try and make sure that when I stop taking them, sometimes I start taking them because I'm feeling crazy, but when I stop taking them, I make sure that I'm pretty stable so that I can feel the difference, if there is any, when I come off of them. And then I've done multiple rounds of several of them: magnesium, theanine, and valerian root, and vitamin D. Vitamin C and zinc has been a new one for me. I'm just sort of seeing if that does anything. I've done ashwagandha as well. I've been on quite a few of them, and I've done 2 rounds with almost all of them, if not more. And I actually feel like I've become a bit of a supplement master. My general rule of thumb, though, is that almost none of them have done shit. Just almost all a waste of fucking money. And you're either deficient in the thing you're deficient in, so you have to go to a doctor and figure that out, a specialist, and figure it out. And it might be that the reason that you're responding well to magnesium is that you're just naturally deficient in it, and you need to just either eat stuff with more magnesium in or take a supplement. Or they don't do anything significantly. For me, again, subjective, but I swear by vitamin D at this point. I'm astonished by how much of an improvement vitamin D provides for my fucking system when I feel a little rough. It's genuinely, I think, the one that is the most has the most significant change on my low mood states. Again, it is not an antidepressant, just if you're feeling a little bummed out. Vitamin D. And you don't have to take a supplement. Yeah, you can get a sun lamp. I got mine right here. Sometimes I chuck it right next to me. Turn this shit on. Put it on 30 minutes. And I fucking Elmo stare at that. And it helps. It's the sun. It's the same. I'm sure all of you have experienced this. You have that first day of summer or spring where the sun is out and it's genuinely warm, and you go and sit in the park, or you go for a walk, or you're just out. You could just be out running errands or whatever. And you come back and you feel better. You just feel better. You feel like you're in a good mood. It improves your mood, and it's the vitamin D in your system. That's also why when you go out if you go on holiday, or if it's a very sunny day and you go to the park all day and you sit in the sun all day and you feel very tired, that is being drunk on vitamin D, from what I understand. That is what that is. So you're not tired from, it can be heat stroke, which is different, but most of the time you're just fucking drunk on vitamin D. You got too much of it in your system. And so you come back, when you come in and you're just like, you feel fucking just heavy because you've been out in the sun in the park all day. That's what it is. You're ODing on vitamin D. You probably feel amazing for the next 2 weeks after that day. Yeah, vitamin D is incredible. It's the one that I swear by the most, for sure. But there are some benefits to some of the others. I've been doing an ashwagandha thing for the last 2 weeks that we'll get onto as well. And for me, I just think I almost think I'm a little allergic to ashwagandha at this point, so I don't know if it's as much of an objective thing, but I don't really like it. Cod liver oil, yeah, that's what I do. I do an omega-3 vitamin D pill, and they're chunky, they're gross. They're so oily, they make me feel sick sometimes. If I eat like lots of oily foods in a day, and then I do those vitamin D omega-3 pills, I'm like, ugh. But it's worth it. It's the only thing worth it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was my answer to the question submitted by someone who's probably already left the chat room, Herpud, who asked, how do you drain cortisol? And has only ever written 13 things in the chat room in the history of the channel. Is he even in here anymore? No. Why, you know? People come in and they're like, I'm struggling, man, and I feel for them. And I'm like, oh, let me give him the big rundown. Maybe something in here will help him. There's nothing worse than when you feel rough. If someone can give you the cheat sheet to feeling better, even if it just takes the edge off, it's so much better. Dude, I remember Liam had just gone through a divorce 6 months, 9 months before I went through a divorce. Me and Emma break up. Liam showed up with a fucking bag, like a go bag. You know, like in movies where they have a go bag with like passports and money and clothes in. He showed up with a go bag of like supplements. He was like, this is what works. Here's some links to some YouTube videos. Here, try this, try this, try this, and try this. And it just cut so many corners for me. It cut off the getting over a relationship breakup from what was probably about 6 months for him to about a month for me. Force feeding all the stuff. It was so useful. Genuinely one of the most, like, I always feel guilty about it because he had to like suffer. He suffered so badly for months and months and months, manually working out all of this stuff. And then he just showed up and just was like, do this, and do this. Yeah, it was extremely useful. He saved my life. Huberman did. I'm like you though. Me and you are the same in that we both approach this stuff very scientifically. I need someone other than myself who is a trustworthy source, a scientist, a doctor, someone with verified experience to go, this will work, because otherwise the little demons in my head will question it. If you just show up with a bunch of crystals and you're like, this is a healing crystal, this is some healing topaz, and it's charged with moonlight, I'm going to be like, yeah. Even if in that moment I'm like, I'll try anything, the little logical part of my brain, at the back of my brain, is just like, but what if you're full of shit? I can't let a but what question in, you know? If it's like a doctor or a fucking scientist who's like, we did all these studies, here's the evidence, here's the receipts, try vitamin D, then the but what part of my brain has very little to argue against, which is, that's a fucking cool looking boat every now and then, dude. Every now and then. It looks like it was built in a video game. I don't even know how to describe this boat. It's like really long and flat at the back, but the front is like all blocky and angular. It looks like someone built it out of Lego. Speaking of which, I'm really looking forward to playing No Man's Sky on Tuesday and building that ship. The Brain Wizard. The Brain Wizard, hold my hand. Bring vitamin D to my land. I haven't left us a lot of time to play D&D, have I? I was a licensed pharmacy for 6 years, and people are so different, nothing will ever feel like it works 100% of the time. Yeah. Important to try and cover angles in a comprehensive way. Yeah, I think everyone's going to be different. I think when it comes to... I mean, there's medicine. I can suggest a lot of different medicines to people, but I've also found everyone reacts differently to medicines, and the stronger something is, the more likely you're going to have a stronger response to it, which can go both ways. It might make you feel a lot better, it might make you feel a lot worse. But with things like supplements and stuff, I honestly think the issue is that most people are like slightly deficient in one thing or another. You just have a slight potassium deficiency. So you try all these different supplements until eventually you get to potassium, and you're like, potassium cures depression. And it's like, no, it cured your depression because your body was screaming for potassium. Just eat a banana. You know, I don't like bananas. Oh, that's why you're not eating enough bananas. You could do an 11-hour stream. I know, dude. I got a message from PB at 10:20 p.m. her time, which would have been 3:20 a.m. and you were still live. Where'd you get to? And if it's a spoiler, DM me. Yeah, I didn't really get to watch it. I was doing a lot of stuff for Secret Table Story Project, Untitled Table Story Project 33. And then I was dead. I was dying. Oh, really? Damn, you fucking smashed the whole thing out? Fuck, dude. Yeah, you've caned through this game. How many hours are you at right now? Maybe you won't have 100 hours in it. Oh, 88? Yeah, you will. Never mind. Yeah, you're going to have 150. Never mind. You're halfway through the game. Well done. Yeah, the end game content's pretty chunky too. Did you do the thing where you fly around on the chocobo and collect the fucking stupid things in the sky? That took me... So that was 99 of the 100 hours of gameplay I put into that. If anyone knows what the fuck I'm talking about. You fly around and collect the fucking things in the sky on the chocobo. Oh god, it took me so long to find them all. It's doable, but it feels not doable when you first start it. Fell asleep and woke up again to the stream. Really? Fuck, that's fucking crazy when it happens, right? Do you know what you're playing for Don't Die Yet? As in what, like species and class and stuff? No. No, I don't. We haven't made characters for that yet. Yeah, we gotta do that at some point, Whack. Oh, what are we gonna do, man? Me and Whack. How long has it been since we've played in a campaign together? Spellwind. Have we even... And then before that, what was it? What was the show before that we played in together? We rarely get to play together. Fucking Stygian? It can't have been. So that means we've only played in like 3 campaigns together. Northern Winds, Stygian, which was 3 sessions, and Spellwind. Isn't that mad? Isn't that fucking crazy? That's the life of being a forever DM, isn't it? Yeah, man, that's brutal. And it's not like people don't offer, by the way, for us to play in games. It's just that neither of us can. We definitely both can't play in one at the same time. It's just the way it works out. It's brutal. It's going to be fun then. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to... I'm just looking forward to playing in a game, dude. I had to play in a game. What was the last show I was in? Owen? Was it? What was it? When was the last time I was a player? Player of D&D was definitely Spellwind. I love D&D and I don't get to play it as much. You know, like everyone has played every class and stuff. Not me. I just forever watching everyone else and be like, so how is it playing a sorcerer? Oh, that sounds so fun. Wait, you're playing a halfling? I've always wanted to try. Everyone assumes that as a DM you've like done everything, but actually I've done very little D&D playing. Although I have squandered it a few times. Like twice I've played like a dual wielding fighter rogue type thing. I just really enjoy certain class types. I remember basically trying to make Zidane from Final Fantasy IX in Fimbulwinter that was run by Tiller all those years ago. Yeah, man. It wasn't gone, no. Kingmakers, no. Spellwind finished after Kingmakers. But probably Kingmakers and Spellwind was the last thing that I was a player in, was it? Fuck. Until this. We get to play D&D for a month. We also all get to see PB run D&D 5e, which I don't know what that. I don't know what that looks like. I only see her run weird systems or like Otherworld and stuff. And you're like, hey PB, what are the rules to Otherworld? And she's like, I don't know. Oh, but I thought you made the rules. And she's like, yeah, I make them up live every week. Oh, okay. All right. Who knows, man? There was rules to the Blade Runner system, whatever that was called, right? Did she follow the rules, Whack? I was just watching it. Like, I assume that's correct. I don't know. I did play in it, kind of. I did make one character for some, whatever his name was, for some of the pre-show stuff. I technically had a character in Blade Runner. I'm terrified of what PB in 5e is going to be like. I'm expecting Dark Souls. Yeah, I think it is going to be Dark Souls. I think that's probably true. Well, what she's limited. I know what the the setting and the campaign and the story idea is for it. But I don't know what we're going to be playing yet because we haven't made it. We need to think about it. It'll be 5e for the intro and then everything has changed. She's only got to do it for like 4 weeks minimum. Don't Die is slated for 4 weeks. With the chance of it going longer, but it probably won't. So it's quite hard to schedule because we've got a few things pop in at the same time. We try and space them out a little bit. Didn't she say she'd never run D&D? I don't know if she did. If she did, it was probably a very long time ago. There's no chance it'll be normal D&D. Yeah, no way. There's no way for 2 reasons. One, she has to learn Foundry in this time. And I've been running non-canon in Foundry and still don't know how to use Foundry. And 2, it's been so long since she's run D&D that, you know, she has to sort of blow off all the old rust. And I don't even know if she's ever... I don't think she's ever run 5e, right? The D&Ds that she ran before were probably older editions. So I'm not sure. I know that she's using the 2014 rule set. Whereas I will be using the 2025 rule set. And we built characters for Untitled Table Story Project 33 in that thing, and I looked at it. I've finally begun my dive into the 2025 rule set and changes and stuff. I like a lot of them. I don't like all of them, so we'll see how that goes. But I actually prefer the character creation process, I think, so far. We just need to get all of the, you know, because there's not as many species, there's not as many classes available as there were before. No one cares what I'm talking about right now. She's gonna have you go in a dungeon and suddenly it's the other world, yeah. I don't think she is. I don't think she is gonna do that. From the trailer, it seems like it might be a deadly sort of campaign where PCs die a lot. Yeah, I wonder if something that says don't die is going to be a deadly campaign. You might be onto something there, Durkee. You might be onto something there. Descendant from Sherlock Holmes. Perhaps. Durkee's furious with me. He's about to ruin. Dude, he's about to ruin the D&D that we're going to play in a minute. His favourite thing to do. I thought about it for 20 hours straight. Yeah. Again, I know a little bit about it. I think you're going to be very excited for some of the stuff that we've got planned for Table Story this year. I will say this much. My next campaign is going to be so underwhelming. I'm actually beginning to get crippling imposter syndrome about it. Especially because we've been talking on Fridays, the last 2 weeks, we've been talking about Table Story shows a lot. And this week we have a show at the moment on Fridays on Table Story called Non-Effort, which is basically just a podcast. People submit topics for us to talk about, predominantly about TTRPGs, and we talk about TTRPGs and Non-Effort. And so we have been talking about stuff, and one of the things that we spoke about this week, we were all dressed up for Valentine's Day, was like our favorite shows that we have each produced on the channel and stuff like that. So we ended up talking about like some of the innovations and some of the really interesting and unique things that each of us has done. And the whole time we were talking about how cool some of the stuff in Main Character is that Whack did. It was one of the greatest premieres of a show we've ever seen. The really interesting and innovative stuff that PB did with like Ungodly. And honestly, even some of the stuff that I've done over the years, like on Rotor, I really put so much effort into a lot of the production and sound design and stuff. And this next thing that I'm running, it has none of it. It's got none of it in. It's the most basic D&D show we've ever run. That's as close to a unique selling point that it has. It's just normal D&D. And it's so bare bones. And I'm also actively trying not to do any of the stuff that I normally do. So I'm not falling on any of my like tropes, and I'm not falling on any of the things that I just can do, autopilot myself through. So it's like DMing school for me again. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to use the new D&D 2025 system, is that I want to go back to like really old school roots, very simple, very sandbox approach, very basic D&D with no bells and whistles. It's not hyper overproduced. There isn't like videos every week, or there isn't like these crazy technological changes, or like something cool like Ungodly 2. I'm going to try not to go too mad on like music and stuff, because ultimately I don't even know fully what to produce for it. It's just a D&D game. It's just a D&D. We've never even done it on Table Story, I don't think. Just a normal D&D game with no crazy bells and whistles, no unique fucking weird twisty element. But as it draws closer, when I was like first thinking of it, I was like, that would be fun to do, and I think it's good. It will be good for me to hone my skills. You know, it's like going back to school for me. I've been running a very similarly structured campaign in D&D. I've done it for the last 6 things I've run. in D&D. Some of the other, like with Rota, it was different. But it gets closer and closer, and I'm thinking like, man, main character was fucking good, huh? Main character's good, huh? Oh, Deathless, the way that she's blended two different fucking systems together and they can like kind of flip between them, that's unique. And everyone's like, I can't wait to see what Brad's going to do next. He's going to do something cool and original and innovative. And I'm like, it's going to feel like you're just watching any other fucking channel. And everyone's going to hate it. And everyone's going to hate it. I think everyone is going to hate this. But at the end of it, I'll be a better DM because I'm actively using it as training. You can all enjoy it. My players can enjoy it if they want. I don't care because I'm in the gym. I'm in DM gym. This is me every week. Just working out. Rhyme was basic D&D, right? Yeah, I mean, it's a module though. So that's the unique selling point. I've done one of those. And the difference is that this is it has no... Rhyme had a story. Fuck. Oh, I'm so afraid. I even promised my players. We have players. They have characters. Characters are made. We are using the new 2024 system, Gary, yeah. I even promised them, I was like, I'm going to try not to just do all my usual accents as well and stuff. Like, I would like to try and do some... you know, some different ones. Do I have different ones? No. No. Where am I going to get them from? 2 days till the new monster manual? I know, man. I'm actually counting down the days, just like you are. Except you're excited for it, and I just need it because I have a show and I'm unable to... There's just a whole section of my show missing right now that I desperately need access to. I can't wait for them to drop that fucking monster manual so I can start building encounters and stuff. ChatGPT, how do I do a Hindi accent? That's easy. I just ask Mergs to train me. Hey Mergs, can you do your best Obi-Wan Kenobi accent, please? Anakin, you have turned against the Jedi. Easy. Newerg, thank you for the 30-month resubscription. I also think it might be fun, and we might do this next week. If I make enough money today, I might move this game over to Foundry. I don't know if it's a good idea, but I do really like Foundry. I don't know. I do really like it. It's a little more difficult for spontaneous stuff, though. That's the problem. Like, as in spontaneous. Actually, do you know what? I think it's probably... I can do it probably about as quickly now. I had to do it a few times in live during non-canon, and I managed to kind of get away with it, so... Good idea. I really like Foundry, yeah. Building stuff up at the beginning. Well, I think I'll probably just do it on stream. It might be fun to do on stream. And also, like Leprechaun is saying, he has been using it for 3 games. So there might be some stuff that you will suggest in the chat room, mods and stuff. And I'm trying to currently learn Foundry. So like learning all the shortcuts and stuff is rough. You know, it's weird. It's like being a baby again. I know Roll20 like the back of my hand, but it isn't a one-to-one translation. I run it for Pathfinder. Yeah, but I mean the interface is the same, right? Well, should we play a little D&D? Because if we don't start playing right now, we're not going to get into it. And we didn't play any last week because I was unwell. I was originally... Shadow made us another short song for the intro, but once again, I didn't prep it. So we're just going to play the old intro. I was going to do it this morning, Shadow, but we got into a chat about supplements.
Returning back to Badger Brook, a tavern sounds just right. Relieve some stress and find some rest, partaking in delight. Instead unknown and eidolon, demanded is their time. Abandoned grave of mother laid, alive with purchase found. Of court and drew the former slave, the latter turned around. 4-on-4 with howling roar, no chill, no joins the fray. With better calls prepared for all, what is there to say? Leary Rice, the hero's light, engrossed the tavern floor. Spin the wheel, seal the deal, roll the dice once more. Rice, Leary Rice, the hero's light, throughout the endless night. With bow and stall, let truth unfold, ready for the fight. Roll the dice, let winds entice, as legend becomes lore. Find your score with help in store, that's what friends are for.
Okay. Current quest. Beach. Beach episode. Anyone remember what happened last time? Nope. I do. You... Yeah. Thank you, Durkee. Here trying to... He's like, here we go, motherfucker. I'm gonna ruin this shit. I'm gonna ruin this motherfucker's day. I can't even remember why now. Because we roasted you for something. Because we roasted you for something, you loser. You fucking loser. Thank you so much, Durkee. Here we are. It's Twitch Plays D&D. If you've never been here on a Sunday before, this is what we do on Sundays most weeks. Didn't do it last week. And you guys play the titular character. Is it a titular character if they're not in the title? Of Leary, who is an Aasimar soldier. From a different country who took a ship over to this continent with the intention of becoming a mercenary, taking up some mercenary work, and on the way to find their first quest, became embroiled in a bunch of side quests, traveling across this little map here. Now this is the main story quest, which you didn't quite get to, but you have been completing these side quests, crossing off these areas as if you were playing a sort of an open world RPG. Last time you came to the Whispering Winds till what titular means. Okay. This was in fact, you teleported from the inn. The inn was burning down at the crossroads, and on a random wheel spin, the Spellwind blew, and you ended up over here at the Whispering Winds location, which was a tower on the edge of a cliff that seemed to be haunted. You sort of got into a little bit of a fight with some creatures. It looked like you were about to lose. Taking the initiative, you jumped off the cliff with the companions that you had, landing in the water, swimming to shore safely. You were able to make it to shore. You crawled up the beach and found a little hut in which you were able to take a long rest. So now that the party is complete, I told you that you get a long rest no matter what. Full health, second wind, action surge, healing hands, and your companions are rested as well. You currently have the elixir of mistletoe charm equipped, a cloak of the hunter, and the ring of granite grasp, as well as a spell scroll of spare the dying. You currently have a curse on you, which is that flames near you dim or flicker, reducing the light radiance of torches or lanterns. And you also have a curse that you automatically know the first name of everyone you meet. And you completed a long rest, and this is pretty much where we left it. This was pretty much where we left it. And we can pick it up from here after a long rest. Now, this is my money making scheme of a stream in which you are able to affect the game. Now, you can play the characters. It's a free game to play. There is ways that you can interact with the game. You can type !roll D20 when I call for it, and it will roll a dice, and that will be how we're going to be doing all the rolls. But if you want to gift money to me via gift subs, they will count towards this little bar here, which says spin wheel. Every 10 that we hit, we spin the wheel like so, and something random will happen. A spin wheel here coming in from the subs from this morning, Durky Dirk, and then one from Shadow and Anonymous as well. Whoever you are out there. So let's see, as your day begins here on the beach, the character's day begins. Spin for a companion. Who do you want to spin for? Lancelot or Snotflap? Should we roll a dice for it? Let's roll a d2. 1, Snotflap. 2 will be Lancelot. 2, Lancelot. So we're going to spin the wheel for the Lancelot here. Thank you, Penny, my love. Lancelot will be trapped. And we're going to come back to that. You started the day with a trap. Congratulations, everyone. And let's go with another spin. Anonymous and Shadow providing this spin. An item. That was very close to, what is that one? Boss battle next to it. An item. You get an item. Roll me a d20. Chat. And that's !roll d20 in the chat room. It will pull... oh, is it not working? Hold on. The bot might be down. Hold on. Let me restart the bot. Oh no, it is going. Is it going? It was going. God damn it. I think I need to restart it now. Hold on. Hold the line. Ravioli, thank you for the sub, my friend. Sorry, I saw a bunch of errors come up on the command prompt, so I thought the bot was down. Should have just looked at the chat room. Alright, try again. !roll d20 in the chat room. And we'll take the first roll to get an item. What have we got? 11. Okay. Let me open up the labels. You find, again, this is a non-magical item, so you find a leather-bound journal. Empty pages, excellent condition. Great for documenting adventures. I don't know what you might use it for. But you find a leather-bound journal, brand new. As if someone bought it and left it behind a long time ago in pristine condition. Pristine condition. And we're gonna write on a remote. Well, you're not on a remote island, but you are on a beach. Now let's think for a second about why and how Lancelot has become trapped. I've thought about it. It's a giant enemy crab. Roll initiative. The wall of the hut breaks open. Lancelot looks towards Leary. Snotflap is gone.
Fuck this, I'm out.
Lancelot, looking at Leary, is suddenly whipped back through a hole in the wall. A hulking crab, purple and blues to the color of its shell, covered in water, has been climbing up out of the water, moving towards the hut. Grabs Lancelot. Luckily, Lancelot had already donned his armor. Without it breaking through them, his arms pinned to one side, the crab yanks him backwards, snipping its claws. Lancelot is trapped within the claw of the giant enemy crab. It is time to face the giant enemy crab. Rarely do I prepare an episode. This is all I prepared. Giant enemy crab. Let's go, baby. Leary. Snotflap. We're gonna say that the hut is here. I didn't put one in. I probably should have done. You know what I'm gonna do? Just to wind up Wax Steven. I'm gonna draw on my map. Disgusting! How could you do those? Drawing on the map. Now, Lancelot is in the claw of the giant enemy crab. It is impossible to release him from the giant enemy crab without killing the crab. That is the video game rule for giant enemy crab. It is simply a good old-fashioned fisticuffs bruiser fight. What did you get? Leary, add turn. We've also got a roll for Snotflap, who is automatically selected as your companion for this combat. Snotflap goes on a 10. Leary goes on a 12. Your initiative is a 3, so you have a +3 to that roll, which means you go on a 13. It is now time to roll for the giant enemy crab. Check this out. Let me see if I can find crab sound effect. Let me see if I can find giant enemy crab sound effect. Giant enemy crab. Please pause the music, Shadow.
Enemy spotted.
That's ergot. Crab sound, please. Yeah, kinda. Kinda. I was kind of hoping it would do like a weird noise.
Audio Jungle.
It's so embarrassingly bad. God, that's fucking terrifying. Imagine you heard that. Forget it. Forget it. I'll do my own crab sounds. It sounds like this. It sounds... What do I have? What do I have? What do I have? That's a good crab sound off the top of my fucking... Off the top of the roof of my mouth. Giant enemy crab. What can you do? It is... Initiative. A 10. Giant enemy crab's dexterity is a -1. Snotflap's dexterity is an 18. Snotflap will go first. The first character to react to giant enemy crab in the combat will be Lyri. Oh, hi Raiders. Perfect timing. Hold on. Stop the music. Hey Perry. 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 Hey Perry. 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 Hey Perry. The most annoying man alive. Hey Perry. Can you code me a better dice bot? I bet Perry could code the most amazing thing. I would date you even if you were a terracotta pot. Maybe I am a terracotta pot. Maybe I am. Hey Perry, how much do I have to pay you to make me a really fucking cool... We'll talk, Perry. I don't have a huge budget. I don't have a huge anything. Unlike you, with your huge brain. Perry's a very smart individual. We were talking about it the other day. We gave Perry a nice glaze, so I think $300. Wow. All right. Well, welcome in, Raiders. Good to see you. Feels like it's an early finish for you, Perry. Do you finish early on Sundays? Am I crazy? Perry is the very smart, intelligent person who plays video games with her brain only. She created Cerebro from X-Men. And it's fucking cool, man. So go and give Perry a follow if you don't already follow. It's a very interesting stream. Almost every time I'm in there. I'm a serial lurker, but it is always very interesting to watch. And a lot of it goes over my head because I'm dumb. Started early because you're cool. Yeah, fair enough. All right. Perry? Message me later on. I have a task for you. If you are joining... Me and my friend Liam made a bot which allows you to roll a d20 in the chat room, and that's it. And I've come to the conclusion it needs to be more complex, but I'm scared to attempt to mess with the code myself. And here we are on Sundays. We are playing D&D. A quick recap, just because everyone came in. We've only just started playing this morning. You are playing the titular character. I don't know if that's how you use the word titular. Current quest is defeat giant enemy. Oh god, I spelled it wrong. Giant enemy crab. You're playing Lyri. Lyri is an Aasimar fighter who came from another country, came to this continent to become a mercenary, and has essentially been doing a bunch of side quests. One of those side quests ended. The characters, Lyri and her two companions, Snotflap, a goblin, and Lancelot, who is a sort of a paladin, jumped off of a cliff, washed up on the shore, took a long rest in a hut, and then the back wall of the hut exploded open. There was a giant enemy crab outside. A blue, purple, hulking crab that had moved up the shoreline, broken open this hut, and grabbed Lancelot. We did a wheel spin here. You can interact with money if you would like. Every 10 gift subs, we spin the wheel and random effects happen in the game. And one of those effects was that one of the party members becomes trapped. I decided that the best way to do that is that they are trapped in the claws of a giant enemy crab. The giant enemy crab has grabbed Lancelot, pulled him out of the hut. He's in armor, so at the moment, the enormous claw of this crab hasn't bifurcated him. But if Lyri and Snotflap are unable to defeat the giant enemy crab. It will eat him. It will eat him. So we just started. The players have rolled initiative for Lyri, going on a 13. Snotflap goes on a 10. Giant enemy crab goes on a 10. Thank you so much for the gift sub, Shadow and Digital Dan. This is what a wheel spin looks like. Let's see if it's going to help you in the combat. There is mostly things that can help you, but there are things that can hinder you on this wheel spin. So let's see what happens right now. Guarantee you it'll be devastating teleportation. Instant long rest. Completely useless, but we have a rule. What was the rule? You just had a long rest, so if you're already long rested, what did I say that happens? Do you remember? If you already have... If spin long rest and already fully rested, 1d8 plus level, temporary HP. That's what it was. So your level is currently 3. So let's roll a d8 plus 3. 5. Fair enough. 5 temporary hit points to pull from. I think I need to add temporary hit points to this, don't I? Can we do that? Temp hit points? Where are you? What is it called? It's not called. HP temp. 5. C. Bam. There we go. So now we've got HP on there. Again, I think I'm going to move this to Foundry next week, so it'll probably change a little bit. If you're interested in watching some really boring D&D setup stuff, I might do it next week. Okay. Okay. Fight. Giant enemy crab trying to scurry away into the water with its prize of your companion Lancelot. It is Lyri's turn, and that is your character. So here's what we do. We're going to vote. We're going to vote. This is the wrong vote. There it is. On what does Lyri do? So there are some classic options. I'm going to assume you're going to have the longbow equipped, so I'm happy to start you with a longbow here. What do you think? You know what? What weapon is equipped? I'll ask you. Equipped. I can spell. Perry. I'm really smart. I can spell. Don't tell Perry that I'm very dumb. It's really embarrassing. What weapon is equipped? So you have currently a rapier, which is melee. Or you have a longbow, which is obviously ranged, but I'll put it in there anyway. Ranged. It's not that as a weapon, yeah. But you can pick and choose here. The crab looks like it is running away from you, but doesn't seem to have any long-range things on it. Lyri, as a character, is more of a longbow proficiency fighter. However, Lyri, you do have a +4 shield. So when you're using a longbow, you don't have access to that +4 shield. So your AC, your armor class number drops. So you're a little bit easier to hit. However, you do have bonuses to damage with a longbow. That being said, using a longbow at range is a good thing, but in melee range becomes a little less effective. The crab's speed looks pretty slow. I'm going to say you don't know what the crab's speed is, but it looks pretty slow. It's also moving sideways, and we don't know why. You know who knows why? You know why crabs move sideways? Perry knows, because Perry's smart. The rest of us are dumb. Crab walking away. Anonymous, thank you for gifting a sub to border bang diggy diggy. All right, we're going long range. We're going ranged. We're doing it. Okay, in that case, what does Lyri do? Again, quick reminder. Crab. Lyri. So, attack ranged. And so we're sort of blending the 2014 and 2024 rules here. But you have the longbow, which will slow the creature. You can Use a scroll, not really. Dodge, equip shield. You can use a potion of charisma. You have the ability to summon a creature. You are currently about 30 feet away from the crab. All right. Those are sort of the only things that you can do from the classic list of actions. But I'll be taking suggestions from the chat room as well. You can equip your beads of force. They're not currently equipped. You have... So the way we've done this, we've got some different rules for equipment that I will quickly run you through if you're new here. Equipment, because we had to simplify 5e down because it's very difficult to run for a chat room of many people, is in the form of these three things. You have active equipment, a bit like a Dark Souls item bar, you know, the 4 items that are on that little hotbar that it has. You have a potion slot. You currently have an elixir of mistletoe, which gives you a bonus to a charisma check. The first item you have is the Cloak of the Hunter, which gives you expertise on stealth and perception checks. You have a Ring of Granite Grasp, which allows you to have advantage to avoid being pushed or taken prone. And your spell scroll is Spare the Dying, which will stop someone who is on death saving throws from having to continue those death saving throws and stabilize them medicine. You do have other loot, but it's going to take you an action to switch them out. So you do have what is essentially 7 grenades, these beads of force, but it will cost you your action to switch that out. So this is essentially, the question is, what would you like to do with your action on this turn? Equip beads of force, nades. The crab's name is Giant Enemy Crab. That's his name. Feed it stuff from our inventory. Feed it stuff from our inventory. Yep, you could do that. Crab walk / dance to show the giant enemy crab that we're pretty cool. I'll allow it. Yeah. Any other options in the chat room? Aim for the eyes and try to blind it. Sharpshooting. Giant enemy crab is its birth name, yes. Feed it the gingerbread shield. I think that falls under feed it stuff from our inventory, so we can get specific if you choose that to vote for that option. Can his name be Steve? No, because he has a name. And his name is Giant Enemy Crab. Don't be rude. Okay. Can we use a Minecraft name tag to rename Crab to Friend? That's definitely an option that you can always try and do. Imagine having Shinigami's eyes and just seeing Giant Enemy Crab. I mean, that's essentially what is happening, because you have a curse that allows you to know everything's name. Play and or sing the Crab Dance song. Tell Snotflap he can eat it if he beats it to encourage him. Alright, I don't know if we can fit more on there, so let's go with those 10. Maybe we would have got 1 or 2 more on there, but I can never remember how large this thing is. Alright, those are your options. Attack with your longbow. Use a potion of charisma. Summon Diablos. Diablos will reduce the creature's HP by 20%. Is that what it is? Equip beads of force. Feed it stuff from our inventory. Do a crab walk dance to show the giant enemy crab that we're actually pretty cool. Aim for the eyes to try and blind it, which is sharpshooting. So it will basically be a ranged attack, but with some disadvantages. Not disadvantage, but maybe I'll bump his AC up. Use a Minecraft name tag to rename the crab to Friend. Play or sing the Crab Dance song. Or you can use your entire action to tell Snotflap he can eat it if he beats it to encourage him. Those are your options. Here at the beginning of combat, a giant enemy crab, a huge creature trying currently to scurry off into the water with your companion Lancelot, automatically equipping your second companion, Snotflap, who's a rogue DPS type character, damage dealer. You have a paladin tank type character as well in Lancelot. And much like a Bethesda game, you can only have one companion following you around, because I'm desperately trying to streamline the process of playing D&D with an entire chat room of people. So it's sort of D&D 5e. Sort of. Alright, what are we going for? Do we have an option? Aim for the eyes and try to blind it. Now, what does a crab's eyes look like is my first question. Do they have like eye stalks? Google, what does an crab's eyes look like? That's right, I wrote an. What does crab's eyes look like? I feel like they're on stalks, but then some of them look like they don't have eyes at all, right? Yeah, some of them have them kind of in their face. Like this. And some of them on stalks, like this. I think they look like this, right? Are they actually its eyes? Yeah, they are. Damn. Okay, I think it has 2 eye stalks. Do crabs have brains? Yeah, okay, I'm going to say it has 2 eye stalks, this thing. This is going to be hard to hit. I mean, its AC is 15. But that's more because it has tough. It's got a carapace. It's a crab. It has an exoskeleton. It's moving pretty slowly, but the eye stalks are going to be pretty small. I think you've got to beat a pretty high AC to get it in the eyes. I'm going to say probably a 16? No, dude. I'm talking 18. I'm talking 18. That's a tough shot to make. These little wobbly eye stalks on top of this enormous thing that's walking away from you. It's already got a pretty significant AC. There's 2 of them, which is why I reduced it from a 20 in my brain to get both of them. So I think to aim at this thing's eyes, you have to beat an 18. Now, bear in mind, Lyri is a good marksman, so you have a +8 to this already. Roll. Exclamation point, roll D20 in the chat room. We will take the second roll because we have to flush out all the old rolls. So whatever the second number is, it will pull a number at random. So you just keep an eye out. It will say the winning roll is, for example, it says there, the winning roll is 9 from Dave Spiros, but we're going to take the second roll. So ignore that 9, keep rolling till we get a second number. Bear of Flame has decided he would like to pay to win, please. He says pay to win, thank you. A 12. He rolled a 12. +8, 20. This is going to be a hit. Let's see how much damage you do. It would have been a 25 if I rolled it. Let's see how much damage you do. 11's pretty good. I think I'm going to allow it. I think Lyri... So, let's look at this and then we'll spin the wheel. The wall of the hut breaks open. Lancelot looks up before these huge claws crush him, his arms pinned to the side. The armor sort of crunching but not breaking. It's bending under the power of these huge claws. The crab pulling Lancelot through the hole, wood and parts of the hut falling in as this thing starts crawling back down the beach, its prey in claw. Snotflap, with the ability to sort of constantly teleport, vanishes outside. Fuck this, I'm not doing it. teleports away from the crab. Lyri immediately, in one movement, lithe, has this sort of like celestial blood moving through their body, is able to, much like an elf, whip up this elven longbow, and in one fell movement stand up, step outside of this hut through the broken ruins of the side wall, knock an arrow, sight up the eye stalks of this giant enemy crab, and then loose the arrow. It flies very true. I mean, you rolled a dirty 20, but a 20 is still very high. The AC you had to hit was 18. The giant enemy crab moving along, suddenly, both eyes on the top of these stalks burst. The first one having the arrow pierce through it, the second one the arrow stopping dead in this eye stalk as they fall down. The enormous crab lets out a terrible screech as it is blinded by this arrow, suddenly spinning round in the general direction of where it felt the pain lance through its eyes from, spinning kind of blindly back and forth. It turns roughly backwards towards Lyri and Snotflap, and Snotflap says to Lyri,
What'd you do that for? It was leaving us.
Lyri says, we can't let it take Lancelot. We have to stop it, here and now, before it gets into the water, Snotflap. Snotflap says,
We could just let it go. What if it tries to eat our snacks? It's got another hand.
Lyri says, just kill the crab.
Oh, shit. All right.
He pulls out his weapon, his sort of warp dagger, and begrudgingly turns towards the crab. Okay, you also deal 11 damage to this thing. Nice. 1/5 of its health? Am I correct? Did I just do maths? Hey, Perry. Hey, Perry. I'm smart. You can move, yes. But we're not doing that just yet. First, we're going to spin the wheel on behalf of Bear of Flame's Cash. Came in and would like to spin the wheel. Let's see if anything crazy happens as we spin the wheel mid-combat. Thank you so much for the subs. I very much appreciate it. Cursed. A new curse arrives. Roll me a d20. Roll me a d20, chat. It is time to become cursed. I'll just take the first number as you acquire a brand new curse from the randomized curse table. A 13. This one in theory should be the worst one, but I don't think it is. The curse of slippery words. Cursed creature accidentally says the opposite of what they mean 10% of the time when speaking. Now, this would be great for... I'm gonna let's figure this out. Let's figure this out. Slippery words. Every time you roll a charisma-based check, so, you know, that could be a persuasion, it could be an intimidation, a performance check, or a basic charisma check. You got to roll a d10. Don't let me forget. I know you will want to because you're desperate to win. 1d10 every charisma check. If you roll a 1, it's going to be an automatic fail. And Lyri will say something insane. I'm so sorry, I'm still a bit sick. Okay. You become cursed. The spell wind blows through the area, and a curse lands upon Lyri. The sensation of being cursed once again by the spell wind immediately dismissed by Lyri because there's a giant enemy crab ahead of you. Okay. Would you like to move? Yes or no in the chat room, I think would be the quickest way to do this. No, yes, yes, no, yes. Ooh, it looks split. I'm going to put it to a legit vote then. Would you like to move? We're going to do yes or no, and then we'll do a vote on where to if yes. There we go. Would you like to move? Yes or no in the chat room. If you'd like to vote, you simply type the number of the thing you want to vote for in the chat room. That's how it works here. Thank you for the subs this morning. We did take last week off. Luckily, I was able to make a little cash to see me through. I don't know what happened 2 months ago, but I made no money this month on Twitch. I got paid significantly less than I was expecting or hoping for, which was pretty scary. Luckily, I have that mattress fund to see me through. But yeah, this show here, this Sunday show, is the thing paying my rent at the moment. So I very much appreciate it. I hope it's worth any money to be cursed the way that you have been. So thank you very much. Okay, would you like to move? Yes. Okay. Closer to move where? Closer to the crab. Away from the crab. Those are your options. Closer to the crab. Away from the crab are the options. It's about 30 feet away from you. You have about 30 feet of movement. You can get all the way up onto the crab, or you can run away from it and get some distance on this bitch. On this bitch. You want to get a distance on this bitch? The choice, as always, is yours. Run away, they scream. Okay. Running away from the crowd. Let's see how far back you can get. You can get you all the way over here. Backing all the way up to the rocks at the back of the beach. Makes sense? Yeah? Let's do that. So Lyri scarpering backwards, preparing another arrow for the next turn. Well, actually, you could action surge. You want to action surge? +1 action. You can basically fire another arrow or do something else. Yes. No. Start the poll. Our bow has an insane range. Yeah, the bow has almost unlimited range. I will almost never put a battle map that is big enough that you wouldn't be able to hit anything on that map with this bow unless it's behind cover or something like that. It's something I really, really want to try and remember every week when I'm running this next table story show. I would love to, I want to really start putting in stuff like cover and levels, you know, height and stuff, and just start utilizing some more of that. It's very hard to do with D&D Online because almost all of the maps are top down, right? Unless you start getting crazy. Yeah, elevation, thank you. I don't know what I was about to say. Levelation, like you're playing Battlefield. Remember they used to call it levelation when you'd blow up a building in that. What have we got? Who's this? Bekor coming in. My parrot friend. Bekor, if I could polymorph you into a parrot and have you on my shoulder every week, I would. Unfortunately, I can't, so you're going to have to remain human and going and doing your job on Monday morning. Do you even have a job? You must do. You're paying money for gift subs. An insane thing. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. 3 off of another wheel spin. Do you only do D&D on Sundays? Yeah, well, I only do D&D on this channel on Sundays, yes. But I do co-run an entire D&D channel separately to this one called Table Story, with 2 other streamers who are much better at it than I am. If you're interested in watching shows that I've run in the past, you'll find VODs over there for lots and lots and lots of shows, as well as shows that are currently being run. There's one tonight if you're interested in jumping in halfway through a show and seeing what we're about. It is a VTM, Vampire the Masquerade / Otherworld, which is kind of a home brew system run by Pumpkinberry. Very sort of dark, dingy. It's very similar to VTM for a feel of what's going on, but it's got a lot of occult and weirdness going on in it. And we have the finale of a Pathfinder show tomorrow night called Gatewalkers. I just finished up a show recently called Cura, which was a D&D 5e show, and I'm prepping a new one that should be starting soonish. If you're interested in that, there's other shows all over there. This is me fucking around on a Sunday with you lot, trying to produce something fun. But if you want to see me actually attempt to run a legit show, then check out Table Story. Twitch.tv/Table Story. Okay, you're going to action surge. Okay, action surge consumed. Because I will forget, I'm going to consume it now, which will allow you to do another thing. So, what does Lyri do? What does Lyri do? So you have, once again, the classic options. Attack ranged. Longbow. Oh, which would slow the creature. I need to remember that it does that. What was the slow thing? You can use Potion of Charisma. You can summon Diablos. You're officially above 180 viewers, so you must react to Ratch's response to the video. What? That wasn't what I said. I said I would watch the How to Train Your Dragon video, and I was joking. It's a bounty on Twitch. Can we tie our grenades to an arrow with our rope? You can certainly try. Any other suggestions in the chat? He's currently prepping the greatest show he's ever run. Shut up. Do we have a Final Fantasy Diablo summon? That's exactly what you have, yes. You have Final Fantasy VIII's Diablo. Or Diablos. That you can summon. And it reduces... What was it? Let's have a quick look again. Before we put it to the vote. It was... Diablos summon. If you summon Diablos, as an action, the wielder of the summoning artifacts can summon Diablos. When summoned, he appears. Blah, 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 blah. All creatures within a 60-foot radius of the point Diablos is summoned must succeed on a con save, or their current hit points are reduced by 25%. So you can reduce the crab, if it fails its con saves, HP by 25% by summoning Diablos. That's what you want to do. Any other suggestions from the chat? Aim for the fucking mouth. Aim for the mouth. Another sharp shot. So now you understand how sharpshooting works. It's kind of a feat. But that's how I do sharpshooting. You want to be specific like that. That's true. Lancelot is currently in the claw of this creature. Seduce the crab or feed it. Alright. Let's go with those. Let's see what you want to do. You can vote by typing the number next to the thing you want to do in the chat room. If you want to attack, then you just type 1. If you want to try and attach a grenade to an arrow, you can try and do that. That's going to cost you a couple of actions to do, by the way. That's going to cost you 2 actions before you dive in. It's going to take you 2 actions, so you won't even get to do this until 2 more rounds from now. Because you have to equip the grenades, and then you've got to tie one successfully to an arrow. Boo, it's the rules, okay? If there are no rules, win D&D. We would like to win D&D, please. How far is the crab from the water? Like 10 feet. But it has turned around because you exploded its eyeball stalks. So it has turned around. You've sort of aggroed it. Tempest, thank you for the 32-month resub, my friend. 2 subs off of another wheel spin. Rule of call? No. No. I can't be giving you too much rule of call because you guys take the piss out of it so badly. Do the beads have an AoE damage that would hurt Lancelot? Almost definitely, yes. It's a grenade. You're just going to attack it. Okay, let's go. Attack roll. Exclamation point roll D20 in the chat room. You have a +8 to this attack roll. Let's go. The AC is 15. That's the number to beat. That is the number to beat. A 5 from Durkee. That's not what we're taking. We're taking the second roll. Keep going till we see another winning roll. Another winning roll, please. If you don't mind. The rule is you have to simply kill the crab to free him. A 14 plus 8 is 209. A successful second arrow launches over Snotflap's head and strikes the crab. This is going to deal 8 piercing damage to the crab. It is currently at 36 HP out of a possible 55. That is the end of Lyri's turn. You are not... The only bonus action you have is Second Wind, which you don't need to do. So that brings us to Snotflap. Snotflap is your goblin companion. Snotflap has a couple of abilities here. Snotflap has the ability to cast Misty Step as a bonus action. He can cast this basically as a cantrip. Companions have slightly different magic rules to them. He has a thing called Flickering Trickster. When Snotflap moves at least 20 feet in a turn and then attacks, he can disengage as a free action. I will forget that. He can do a war cry to try and frighten the creatures, but I don't think he's going to do that. I think it's Warp Strike Dagger, isn't it? Now, how far away is it? He can do this. Let's do it. Warp Strike Dagger. 24 is a hit. For 9 piercing damage. If the attack hits, Snotflap can teleport to the dagger's location as a free action, instantly retrieving it. Additionally, the dagger hits. If the dagger hits, the target must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or be disoriented, giving them disadvantage on their next attack. So this... Snotflap pulls out the warp dagger, throws it at the enormous crab in front of him. It sticks into the flesh of this creature. And Snotflap is able to teleport over to this thing, retrieve the dagger, and now the crab needs to make a dexterity saving throw. I'm going to do it. There it is. A 1. Not even a natural 1. It rolled a 2. And it has a -1 to its dexterity, disorienting the crab. Meaning the crab now has disadvantage on the next attack roll. Now, Snotflap moved pretty far, moved 20 feet. He can disengage, which he will. And then he's going to move back another 30 feet. Well, he can get to there, can't he? I think he just runs away.
Wow, that thing's big. Holy shit.
Now we have the giant enemy crab's turn. Now this thing is disoriented and blind. So I'm going to roll a wisdom save or check. I'm going to roll a wisdom check to see if it can figure out roughly the direction that Snotflap and Leary are in. 2. It cannot. It stumbles around, lost and confused. At the front of where its mouth is, a sort of magical bubble begins to appear. And then it launches this bubble. I'm going to roll a d6 to determine the direction, with 1 being directly at Snotflap and Leary, 2 being a clockwise direction around, okay? Really, we just want to see if it rolls a 1. A 4. So it launches this thing, what? 2, 3, 4, just out at sea. This giant enemy crab uses its bubble breath to launch a bubble that looks like it launches out at the speed of a bullet. This thing would have hurt if it struck, but it launches it out to sea. Confused, disoriented, doesn't know where you guys are. You survived this round. That is the end of the giant enemy crab's turn. I think it's probably just going to stand there. It doesn't really know where you are, so not going to do anything. Bringing us around to Leary, but first, it is time to spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. Here we go. Thank you to Dirky Dirk. Trapped again. You know what that means, right, guys? You know what it means, right? The second trap. There's only one thing it can mean, Dirky. Snotflap says to Leary,
Wow, that thing's real big, real ugly.
suddenly, looking like Inspector Gadget, the other claw, one of them holding Lancelot close to the crab's body. The second claw, like Mr. Fantastic, stretches out away from the crab. It's insane. This enormous claw grabs at Snotflap, grabbing him. Snotflap says,
That thing's real. Ugh. Oh shit.
and is pulled backwards. Snotflap attempts to teleport, and he can't. He's trapped within the claw of this giant enemy crab. The giant enemy crab now has Lancelot and Snotflap caught in its claws, removing Snotflap from the combat. This is a handout. This is what I want.
Leary, save me, forget about him.
Crab, blind, has grabbed Snotflap by the use of sound and sort of forced writing, because you made me do this with a trapped wheel spin. There was no other choice. Snotflap is removed from the turn order. It is now Leary versus the giant enemy crab. The giant enemy crab has 27 HP left. It is attempting to kidnap Lancelot and Snotflap, drag them underwater, and consume them for its meal. Leary is 45 feet away from the crab. You are Leary. What does Leary do? Let's see. You can attack ranged longbow. Has the ability to slow the creature, which I must remember. What does that do? Let me quickly pull that up. I forgot. The longbow. If you hit a creature with a longbow and deal damage to the creature, you can reduce its speed by 10 feet until the start of your next turn. If the creature is more than once with this, if the creature is hit more than once with this property, the speed reduction doesn't exceed 10 feet. Okay, so currently its speed is reduced by 10 feet. Currently its speed is reduced by 10 feet. How does the crab grab Snotflap if he can't see? First of all, Monty, I answered that question. Open your ears and listen, okay? Because I haven't got time to deal with individual questions from class. All right? It grabbed it because you rolled trapped on the thing, so I had to justify it. Also, you now find out that blinding the crab was pointless. It has blind sight up to 30 feet. So first of all, go fuck yourself. Second of all, go fuck yourself. Third, it has blind sight. Fourth, you rolled on the thing, which means I had to justify some bullshit reason as to why it trapped Snotflap. Okay? It makes sense because this is the basis of the combat, because you started the combat with trapped and it grabbed Lancelot. So it makes sense because it's fun. And this is called fun, Monty, rather than fucking crippling mechanics, boring, we're only going to play by the rules D&D. It makes sense that it grabs both of your companions. It lends to an interesting sense of danger. It increases the danger by removing a party member and sits within the theme that was started at the beginning. But think about it. What if you blinded it? I'm going to get real angry with you guys in a minute. Okay, what does Leary do? Here's the other thing. I'm the DM and my name is on the screen and I'm the only person with a microphone, so that means it grabbed him. Shut up. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? You can suggest some options. You can suggest some options if you would like. Some creative options. Jump onto a rock, guessing it's sensing us through the sand. Okay. Any other suggestions from the chat room? Have we got another wheel spin or am I crazy? No. I'm crazy. He's a crazy boy. Look for weak spots. This was added to 2024 rule set, which I like. Cry and piss pants. Always a good option. Can't fucking copy it because... which is so annoying. Cry and piss pants. Put another arrow in the mouth. Well, this one didn't go into its mouth, so put arrow in mouth. Sharp shoot. Feed it? Question mark. Alright, those will do. Away you go. Away you go. Away you go. Vote. But my option wasn't put on there, Braid. You gotta type quicker. This stream unfortunately very much favors people who can type quickly. There's nothing I can do about it. Exclamation point, roll D20 and stuff. Suggestions. There's nothing I can do about it because it's our only form of communication is you typing in the chat room. And it's a live show. It's live. It's happening right now. Unfolding right in front of your very eyes. We've got to keep things moving along. You know? Or you'll get bored and leave me and I can't have that. Please stay. Please stay and give me money. Lest ye make me cry. Oh lest ye make me cry. How come you didn't put an option to blind it? Are you genuinely asking or are you trying to wind me up? Do we need to like explain it to him or because I can't tell if you're trolling me. Shadow, thank you for the 5 gift subs. Closer to another wheel spin, but first you've decided to attack with a longbow. You're rage baiting, okay. Here's the thing with rage baiting is that there are so many people in here who are literally that dumb that it doesn't rage bait me because I'm just like, oh, it's just a dog. It's a dog person asking me the same question over and over again. So it doesn't trigger my rage because I'm like, they just need to have everything explained to them in small words. Okay, time to roll a dice, guys. You have a +8 to your attack roll. Time to fire another arrow. You're using the Elven Longbow. +8 to your attack. This will do 1d12 +3. It's a good lot. It's your highest available damage dealer. Your AC is, however, current... Oh yeah, you have no armor on. That's right, your armor was destroyed in the previous session that we ran. And you currently don't have the shield equipped. So your AC is currently at 13, by the way. You're a little vulnerable. A little vulnerable. We take the second roll. We just flush out all the old rolls. So keep going. At 15, unfortunately, from Aqua Snakes would have been great. A true beach episode, yeah. Lyri in some fashionable beachwear, whatever comes to your mind, whatever that looks like to you. Nyanar, thank you for the 2 gift subs. How annoying is it that I am the only person in the world that calls you Nyanar, by the way? A 4. In the confusion, in the madness, suddenly Snotflap being pulled away and trapped in the other claw of this crab, Lyri aims the arrow and lets it fly, but trying to avoid Lancelot, trying to avoid Snotflap. The arrow just flies north of where the creature is and into the ocean. A miss from Lyri. Anything else you want to do? You can move around, but there's not really any reason to. Doesn't provide much for you. You haven't lost any HP, and you've consumed your action. So I would say that's the end of your turn for the sake of moving on. For the sake of getting to the next thing. Let's go. Giant enemy crab. I'm going to roll another wisdom check, I think, see if you can figure out what's going on around it. A 9. I think it still doesn't know where you are. In which case, it's going to start moving towards the water. Its enormous legs start splashing in the water. It doesn't really have any idea where Lyri is to counterattack, and instead decides it's going to take its prey into the water. Now, the slow is over, isn't it? Let's see. Slow until the start of your next turn. So that's, yeah, it's over. Which means it's back at full speed, which is only 20 feet. 5, 10, 15, 20. It starts gliding out into the ocean. Snotflap and Lancelot caught in the claws as this thing turns around and starts walking into the ocean. Little way, maybe 10 feet into the ocean, the crab starts to sink a little bit. It is heading out into the ocean. Snotflap and Lancelot caught in the claws, every now and then being dunked under the water. This thing isn't trying to keep them above the water or anything. It doesn't care. It's just Lancelot lifted up, soaked, hair in his face, taken in before being dunked under again. Snotflap caught in the claw, dunked under the water, held under there for some time, pulled back up.
Oh shit! Oh, it's gonna eat us, Lyri! I gotta save us!
The creature moving out to sea now, posing another problem for Lyri. Can you kill it before it makes it all the way out to sea, before it takes them into the ocean and consumes them as dinner? Can we get 5 big booms? Not funny. I'm so annoyed that I laughed at it. It's Lyri's turn. What does Lyri do, guys? What does Lyri do? You want to spin the wheel? Anonymous wants to spin the wheel. One more sub and we'll spin the wheel. Any other suggestions? So you can attack again. Just try and burst this thing down. Attack with ranged weapon, longbow. It will slow the creature as well if you are able to hit. Potion of Charisma is another thing you can do. You can also summon Diablos and reduce the creature's HP by 25% if the summon is successful. Do they get strength checks to break free? They do not. Make a load of noise. Sop the crab notices you and comes back. How you type it is how it goes into this list. Can we scream as we fire the arrow? Win D&D. Can we win D&D, says Shadow. The scroll is spare the dying. Crab dance like we've never crab danced before. Zephyr Strike Raja Stike. Zephyr Strike Raja Stike instead of style. Okay, those are your options. Away you go, chat. Attack with the longbow, Potion of Charisma, Summon Diablos, make a L. What did I... Load of noise. Why is that 2 options? Hold on, I'll restart it. Why is it fucking 2 options? Make noise. You know, you read it. Okay, go again. Go again. So, can we scream as we fire the arrow? Crab dance like we've never crab danced before. Zephyr Strike, Raja style, or make noise are your options. What would you like to do, my friends? The crab swimming out into the ocean with your companions, one in each claw. Lyri having to deal with this. Get creative. Kill this thing quick. What's the plan? How are you going to deal with the giant enemy crab? There you go, Kyrie. I just summed it up for you. The crab has now got both of your companions, is running away with them to eat them. Chat doesn't know the power of the Zephyr Strike. No, chat just knows that you don't have a Zephyr Strike and that this would be a waste of an action to try. Can you do the eject shot? No. If you do it, you win. Okay. Is it worth the gamble? Do something your character is completely unable to do to save the day. Doctor Who writing. Doctor Who level of writing. Another attack. They've decided the best thing to do here is attack. Kill, kill, kill. Kill them all. +8. Exclamation point. Roll d20 in the chat. We take the second roll. 2 bites. You know the rules. What does he say? 1 bite. You know the rules. +8 to this. And while you roll, we spin the wheel. Thanks to Nyanar and Anonymous and Shadow the Red God for this wheel spin. Whew. Spin for companion. Right, we're not taking that 2. 1d2. 1 is Snotflap. 2, Lancelot. We spin for Lancelot. Teleport, teleport. Spin for companion. Already doing it. Do it again. That's the 3rd time that's come up today. The wheel's scuffed today, isn't it? Instant potion for Lancelot. Okay. Since you're already rolling, I'll do a random potion generator. See what happens to him. Your hair turns the color of the potion you drank. This could have been game changing, dude. Fuck, man. This is fucking bullshit, dude. Could have been anything. Could have got potion of frost giant strength. Could have got potion of teleport. You know? Could have got potion of kill nearest thing to you. Abysmal, Paul. Abysmal, Paul. I'm sorry, chat. I failed you. His hair turns silver, though. The potion color is an oily liquid that is silver in color. The effect happens instantly. He looks cool as shit. His hair turns Sephiroth silver. Lancelot, his long black hair transforming with the Spellwind into a silvery color. No one gives a shit because the two of them are about to die. Lyri is panicking and firing arrows at this creature. Now, I don't know what number you rolled, but it was definitely a hit. A 13, which means you rolled a 21. So this is a hit. Let's see how much damage you deal as the arrow lets loose once again. 16, big fucking hit. Strikes the soft flesh of this thing's asshole. The creature is slowed, and you deal 16 damage to it, reducing it to 11 HP. It isn't dead, but it is slowed. reducing its movement by 10 feet, which means it can only move 10 feet. Which it's going to do now on its turn. 5 feet, 10 feet. It moves closer. It just has to make it here to the edge of the map. Once it's there, it's gone. If it can get off the map, it escapes the encounter. Those are the rules. Lancelot has silver hair. It's now Lyri's turn. What does Lyri do? Choices from the chat room. We can do, you know, make a lot of noise to aggro the crab, bro. Aggro the crab, bro. Feed it is an option. Get to high ground. Let's see if you have rope. Hempen rope. 50 feet of rope. 100 feet of rope. You do have a lot of rope. Yes. You do have a lot of rope. Is the plan to lasso a leg? Lasso a leg. Are companions submerged? No, but they are being kind of dunked as the creature is moving out into deeper water. Try to make a giant enemy crab mating sound to lure it closer. The ugly sweater is burned up. Yeah, it is. Need to do some inventory management here. Inventory management. Ugly sweater burned up. Gone. Okay, what would you like to do? It has 11 HP. It is swimming out into the deeper ocean. It is taking your companions with it. You could be companionless if you don't stop this crab here and now. You will lose 2 companions to the giant enemy crab. What are you going to do? How will you stop it? How will you try? The answer from chat: a resounding fire the fucking bow at this bitch again. Alright. Go for it. Exclamation point. Roll D20. Give a +8 to the roll. Here we go. Creature is no longer slowed. At the start of your turn. You take the second roll. Roll. Not that 14, unfortunately, from Plasma. We'll take the next roll. Lyri knocking another arrow, sighting this crab as it moves further away and into the water, swimming out towards deep ocean with its prey, Lancelot and Snotflap, one in each giant enemy claw. Ooh, Ravioli has failed you. The arrow fires. It looks like it's floating true before the crab dips into deep water. The arrow launching over the top. Snotflap being held in one of these things says,
Fuck, Lyri, shit, you're better than this, come on!
Crab is now able to move 5, 10, 15, 20. It is at the very edge of the map. It is at the very edge of the map. I cannot prove that to you, but it is. It has to make it another... If it can get 10 feet. Basically, this is your last chance. If you do not kill this crab on this turn, it will escape the combat with Lancelot, with Snotflap, and it will swim into deep water with them. What does Leary do? I will make a lot of noise. I will keep feed it. I will keep get to high ground. I'll keep lasso a leg. I'll keep trying to make a giant enemy crab mating sound. But do you have any other creative options to try and save the day? Eject shot. Summon Diablos will reduce. It cannot kill it. Summon Diablos is on there. You can't kill it with Summon Diablos. You can only reduce its health by 25%. I don't know what 25% of 11 is. Can we reach the crab and still perform an action? The crab's pretty far away from you. It is now 95 feet away. You've used your action surge. You have a potion of charisma. That's it. All right. Go. The choice is yours, chat. Attack it again. Hope that you hit and deal more than 11 damage, or 11 or more damage. Swig a potion of charisma. Summon Diablos. Make a lot of noise to try and aggro the crab. Feed it. Get to high ground. Lasso a leg. Try to make an enemy crab mating sound. Or eject shot. That's stupid. It's so stupid. What's the plan, chat? This is it. This is your final action. You could try and spin the wheel for a Deus Ex Machina, I guess, but this is what it comes down to. This is your last chance. If it gets any more movement, you're going to try and fire a bow and arrow. The bread and butter of the character, Leary the Archer, sighting up the giant enemy crab once more. Roll me a d20, chat. Exclamation point, roll d20. You have to beat a 15. You have a +8 to this roll. If you have a history of bad rolls, do not roll. Do not come. Do not come. Remember when she said that? A 12 from Omega. Next roll, we got to flush out. Got to flush out the old rolls. Lux, what have you done? Lux, what have you done? The arrow is let loose. You've rolled a 4. I'm playing a theme called Seg is Dead from Campaign 1, which I think is an appropriate song right now. Shadow says, no, I can get a Deus Ex Machina with a wheel spin. I can. He screams. Screaming. He's banging against the plexiglass of his prison cell in Norway. The arrow is let loose. It flies through the air, over the sand, over the water, and towards the crab. Unfortunately, the crab reaches deep water, sinking into the ocean. Lancelot glancing up at Leary, one last look, closes his eyes. Snot flap.
Leary!
The two giant claws, the two companions, dragged deep under the water. The giant enemy crab submerging and gliding down and away from the beach in the open ocean. Leary starts running towards the water, completely losing sight of the giant enemy crab and the two companions. Your plan here, right now, is just desperately to pay to win. I do feel bad, because this always happens. And all that happens is I make bank. Like, really, I should always put Snotflap and Lancelot in just severe jeopardy every week. But this is not my intention. This came down to rolls. I honestly thought this was going to be an easy fight. And I feel horrible. But this is D&D, baby. At its core, this is what it is. The strat is spin to win. Right, how many spins have you got? One? The show, Severe Jeopardy. That can be your show. Tune in in a couple of months on Table Story on Fridays. Okay, here we go. A wheel spin. A desperate bid from chat. And what are we looking for here? We're looking for what could potentially save you. A teleport maybe. A spin for companion, something comes up off of that. You could maybe get something off of a wild magic. But really we need a wish granted or a something good. Wish granted, something good. The two options that I think are probably going to be able to affect this, right? Let's see. Shadow, Dirk, Plumrug, Ravioli, Penny, Horace came in with a 69. Nice. Naya. Looking after me. Let's spin it. You ready, guys? You ready? Take a deep breath. Bus is in the chat. Let's go. Spin for companion. Okay, for the sake of it, we're going to roll for the companions. One is Snotflap. Snotflap. We're spinning for Snotflap right now. A teleport. A Deus Ex Machina. A wish granted. A something good. Could be anything for Snotflap. Here we go. His next roll is a natural 20. I'll give him an athletics check. To break free. At the last second. Underwater. We see this crab begin swimming, using its claws and its legs. Lancelot and Snotflap being sort of dragged through the water as this thing tightens its grip on both of them and pulls itself down and into the ocean. Snotflap, absolutely beyond himself, losing his mind right now because Snotflap doesn't want to be in the water, remember? Snotflap doesn't go in the water, he doesn't like swimming. He doesn't like deep water. Going crazy. Opens his mouth. Tiny little teeth. And bites into the claw of the crab. You see it just break the carapace of the crab's claw. A little split running along the... What would it be? It's like chitin? What is its shell made of? Breaking it. The crab just loosening its claw enough to allow Snotflap to break its claws apart, and then appearing above the water as Leary runs towards the shoreline. Snotflap ports with a sphere of water as well around him, and then ports again to the shore before landing on the beach, rolling over. It's time to spin the wheel again. For Lancelot. The crab barely even aware that it's lost its prey in its left hand. claw. Lancelot continues, silver hair, to be dragged through the water as the crab descends further and further underwater. Let's spin the wheel again. We get another wheel spin. This one's from Venom Back. Thank you very much. Kyrie as well. An instant potion. I don't know, man. You want to roll for the potion, chat? Go for it. Exclamation point. Roll D20. God, where's my potion table gone? A 20 or an 8? Why a 20 or an 8? Oh, they're both rolled by Lux. Lux rolled the last 3 things. We'll just go with the 8. Well, what do you want? Do you want the 20 or the 8? Be it upon your heads. 20 or 8? 20. 8. We have to write it with words, otherwise it gets confused. Would you like the potion, the instant potion of 20 or 8? You just found the lost chocolate. Oh, you did it now? God, that took me so long. I hated that. Did you pull up a guide? You are granted the Ambrosia of the Gods, which unfortunately does absolutely nothing for you. Restores all hit points and removes all conditions. Extremely rare and priceless. Does not help you in any way right now. Does not help you in any way right now. Because you're at full health and you have no conditions. What was 8? Guess we'll never know. I guess we'll never know. I mean, it says Potion of Save Lancelot, but I have no idea what it could possibly have done. What does Lyri do, chat? What does Lyri do? Okay. It doesn't remove curses, no. Attack its weak point for massive damage. It's gone. You're out of combat. You're done. This is you're out of combat. Remove all turns. Clear. Gone. Bam. It's done. This creature is entirely underwater. There is no combat. This is just what do you do now? Scream and fire arrows into the sky, point blank style. Chug the mermaid potion, equip the seashell amulet, and off we go. Is trapped a condition? It would be. You'd grappled, yeah, but this wasn't a potion for Lancelot. It was a potion for Lyri. You didn't spin for companion that second time. It happens instantly to the main character, not to the others. Pray to Leviathan to help and save Lancelot. Cry out to the Water Witch for help. I love D&D because as soon as you guys can't do something, you're like,
Deus Ex, please. I would like to order 1 Deus Ex Machina. I scream out to a witch who's hundreds of miles away.
knees to the sand. Say, oh God, oh man, oh God, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Go west. Use Pokeball to summon Lancelot back. Write a sad poem in our notebook. Okay. There you go, there's your choices. Scream and fire arrows into the sky, point blank style. Chug the mermaid potion, equip the seashell amulet, and off we go. Pray to Leviathan to help and save Lancelot. Cry out to the Water Witch for help. Knees in the sand, go west, use Pokeball, write a sad poem. It's yours. It's yours. What's the plan, guys? Chug the mermaid potion, equip the seashell amulet, and off we go. Okay. Fuck it. Let's go. It's not over till it's over. Equipping. Potion. Potion of Kingdom Hearts. And drinking. Providing Lyri with... Well, maybe when you dive in the water, right? 60 feet of swim. Equipping the seashell amulet in place of the ring, I assume. The ring? Wait, what does the ring do? The ring gives you advantage to being pushed or prone, so yeah. The seashell amulet. The ring comes off. The seashell amulet goes on. Sword and shield. I mean, you're just diving into the water. You have all your weapons. You can deal with it at the beginning of combat. Lyri says, wait here to Snotflap, who's laying on the sand and says,
Oh shit. I thought I was gonna die. Oh shit. My ribs hurt. That thing was gripping me so tight. Oh god.
spitting up water covered in seawater and laying on the sand, barely even listening. Lyri rushes forward. Dives into the water, swims out a few feet before chugging the Kingdom Hearts tonic. Lyri's legs fuse together and then transform into a mermaid's tail, granting you exceptional speed. Okay. Diving underwater. I guess the first thing I need is a perception check. What do we got? +4 to your perception. Exclamation point, roll d20. Away you go. Okay. The giant enemy crab descending. Lancelot in its massive claw. It's churning up water behind it as it's propelling itself down. You can see Lancelot's sort of eyes wide, struggling, panicking a little as Lyri dives in, the tail forming from the potion, the cold of the ocean grabbing at Lyri's senses, and they race into the water. Time to catch up with the crab. A 12? Yeah, that's an easy spot. Okay. Alright, let's do this. Let's do this. The chase. Entering the depths. You have two options. Dive straight down. The most direct route, but the water pressure increases rapidly. Alternatively, you spot that there's a reef wall. Swimming along the reef wall would be longer, but there are currents that might boost your speed. How will you chase and begin this chase following this giant enemy crab chasing Lancelot into the depths? Down, down, down into the depths. Down, down, down into the depths. What would you like to do, my friends? The choice falls once again to the animals of the chat room. Hi Peachy Coaster, thank you for the 31-month resubscription. The plan is to swim along the reef wall. Guys, I'm gonna need an acrobatics check, please. Did you know you can dub for free with Amazon Prime? Okay. Free dubs it is. A dexterity acrobatics check, please. You've got to beat a 13. You have a +3 to this check with acrobatics. Lyri has a +3 to this dexterity check. Chasing the giant enemy crab into the water. Deep into the water. +3, you gotta beat a 13. We take the second roll. Let's get those rolls in, baby. Let's go. Let's get those rolls in, baby. Let's go. A 15. Lux redeeming herself. Finally. Now step away from the keyboard, Lux. Step back from that keyboard, my friend. sighting the reef and using it to navigate the currents skillfully. Lyri, now with a mermaid's tail, which is probably blue, right, to match Lyri's hair, successfully rides these currents, catching up to the crab a little closer. Unfortunately, the crab vanishes. A crab is an enemy, yeah. A giant enemy crab. Would you believe this came first, Orcish, and then the conversation we had? Okay, Mark. For some reason, crabs are on my brain. Ahead of you, the crab, burst of bubbles, is suddenly lost in a huge field of kelp. These enormous tangling vines rising up. The crab passes the reef and into the field of kelp. Field of kelp. Would you like to weave through the field of kelp? It's shorter, but you risk getting tangled. Or would you like to swim around the kelp? It's safer, but slower. The choice is yours. A huge field of kelp. The crab diving straight into it. Lancelot panicking. What's it gonna be? Not the only thing crabs are on. Are you trying to pretend that you have crabs? Orcish, in order to get crabs, you need to minimum have a sexual partner. And I know that you don't have one because you've got no money. So you have not paid for one recently, like you normally have to.
Get him out of here right now.
Unfortunately, that isn't true. I was born with them. You can get them from nasty toilets. Orcish doesn't go outside. What if he catches a cold? Can't risk that. You're going to swim around the kelp. Alright. This one, my babies, is a perception check, please. +4 to your perception check. Wisdom perception check. You got to beat a 12 to try and spot the fastest way, the fastest route around the kelp, please. What do we got? A perception check. +4. A 4. You roll an 8, you had to beat a 12. There is no obvious fast way that Lyri is able to determine around the kelp. The winner was 19. Gary, you wouldn't be lying to us right now, would you? Shadow says it's a 4. Gary, you wouldn't be lying to us right now, would you? Roll us a deception check, Gary. We take the second roll, Gary. Is that what he's getting confused about? You should know this by now. I know you're not always here for this because you have D&D games, but we take the second roll because we have to flush out all the old ones. A 4. Oh, okay. Apologize, Gary. Apologize to everyone. Never mind. Oh, wow. Absolutely furious. In that case, yes, you failed. You failed the check. You had to beat a 12. You do not spot a quick way around this. Trying to minimize time by avoiding the kelp, but not finding a successful route around this, Leary takes a much longer path, losing ground on the crab, finally breaking past the huge field of kelp. There is, in the distance, having lost some space, you can see the bubbles of this crab as it sort of it's jettisoning oxygen and water behind it. Lancelot starting to really struggle, a breath escaping him as the time underwater and the pressure of being caught in the crab's claw gets to him. He's still pushing with all of his might against the crab's claw. The crab is now moving at a great pace across a huge sort of coral canyon. The crab suddenly ducks down and is lost as it begins to navigate through this canyon and deeper into the open ocean. Leary darting forward, Mermaid's tail kicking out behind them and approaching the coral canyon. A similar question, I think. The coral canyon. Is the plan to swim above the canyon? Swim above the canyon. Clear visibility, but danger of losing the crab in the coral. Or dart through the canyon. Narrow and hazardous, but close to the crab's tail.
Crabs don't actually have tails.
I beat you to it, so you can just carry on typing something else instead. Thank you, Shadow, for 2 gift subs. 5 for another spin. 5 for another spin. And the choice is yours. How will you approach the Coral Canyon?
Crabs do actually have tails.
Spent so long Googling that, by the way. Notice how long it took him to type it. Unanimous. Chase the crab into Coral Canyon. Okay. In that case, I'm going to need another acrobatics check, please. +3 to your acrobatics checks. We take the second roll, Gary. To flush out all the old crap rolls. DC 13 is the number to beat. A 13 to beat. What can you do? Darting into the canyon, following the crab into the coral. Coral. Acrobatics check, +3 to the check, please. What have we got? 17, a dirty 20. Sheltered from the chaotic currents, Leary is able to dive into the coral, dexterously avoiding sharp coral, slipping in and out and through tunnels of coral, tight turns, successfully navigating the coral canyon, and swiftly you exit close on the tail of the crab. The crab is about to enter a deep sea trench ahead of you. And you're able to catch up with it. The trench opens into this wide, sandy clearing as it dives down, believing itself to be safe of any pursuance, believing itself to be a relatively apex predator down here. The crab slows and pauses to readjust its grip on Lancelot. Lancelot at this point barely conscious, holding on with all his might. The crab. You approach. What will you do to the crab? Attack its weak points. Go for its exposed joints to cripple it. Or attempt to pry open the claw and free Lancelot by force. This is it. This is it. What's the plan? Attack its weak points. Go for its exposed joints and cripple it. Okay. This is an attack roll. Roll d20. Using the rapier, you have a +5. You have to beat a 15. You have advantage. 19. Can you get a crit? Roll again. We'll take that 19. Wow. A natural 20. That's true. 19 is a crit for you. That's right, but you did get a natural 20, which is also special. Who doesn't love a natural 20? This is like the most anime shit, I think. The crab slows itself, comes to rest finally at the ocean floor. Lyri suddenly launching forward, tail pumping, rapier pulled, and then there's just a... You know in anime where they kind of just move and all that's left is like a line behind them of color. A second, a beat, a pause, and then... The giant enemy crab, 3 of its legs burst off of it. The claw that is holding Lancelot is removed from the body of the crab. Lancelot, in a burst of strength, pushes the claw open now that it is no longer being held closed by the crab. However, in its rage, The crab turns and lets out an enraged, bubbling roar. Its remaining massive claw snapping wildly, churning the water up into a frothy chaos. Lancelot attempting to swim awkwardly, or struggling with his own breath and armor. You must escape it before it gets its bearings. What's the plan here? Swim directly upward toward the light. This is the fastest way to the surface, but you will be exposed. Alternatively, attempt to return to the coral and rock formations and use the terrain to evade pursuit. The choice is yours. What will you do? What's the plan? Split this time. Swim upward toward the light. Head for the surface fast, but leave yourselves a little exposed. Or weave through the coral and rock formations using the terrain to evade pursuit. What's the plan? Weave through the coral and rock formations. The first thing I need is a stealth check. Grabbing Lancelot and swimming. Lancelot held under one arm. He locks in Lyri's powerful mermaid tail, able to transport them both very quickly up and away from the crab and away from the trench, back towards the coral, the rock formations behind. But you're going to need to make me a stealth check. The DC will be lower because the crab is blind after 30 feet. It only has blind sight up to 30 feet. So I'm going to say this is a 12. Stealth, you have a +3. A +3. Get them rolls in. A stealth check, please. A 10. A 13, you just make it. From Gary. Slipping back into the coral. Hiding from the crab. And moving into this coral. The crab behind you. Swimming through the coral, back up to the surface, and Lancelot barely sort of conscious here, struggling, pulled to the surface. Lyri like a dolphin, launching out of the water and dragging Lancelot back up and onto the shore. How long do you have a mermaid's tail for? We'll just say until now. We'll say until now. Back up and onto the ocean, onto the beach. There's a moment where Snotflap appears and says,
Holy shit! Is he dead? Can I eat him?
Lancelot, I'm not dead.
Oh shit. Hey Larry, should we eat him anyway?
Leary looks to Snotflap and says, well, I'm glad to see that you're feeling all right. Are you okay, Lancelot? Are you injured? I don't think so. I just need to catch my breath and perhaps I'll just get a little further away from the water. The spell, the potion wears off and Leary's legs return. The three take a moment and catch their breaths, laying in the sun, a cautious eye on the waterline. I think you deserve some XP, but you didn't defeat the crab outright, but I think you deserve a little XP. I'll give you half of what it's worth. Which I don't know what that is because I nerfed it already. Let's say 500 XP, so 250 because you did have a companion. 250 XP. Granted. Which brings you up to 510. Or 2,260. 2,510 out of 2,700. Close to a level up, but not quite leveled up yet. The three characters, I think we get this closing shot of the three of them sort of starfished, splayed out on the beach. All of them catching their breaths. Lancelot and Snotflap with some sort of sore marks around their waists where the giant enemy crab had them held. Deep underwater elsewhere, the crab raging with only one arm, missing a couple of legs. Another enemy made and lost under the surface of the sea. And what I thought was going to be a quick little combat at the beginning became the entire session. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for playing. I hope you enjoyed yourselves today. Another exciting episode of Chaos. Chaos. The sea. You can't stop going into the water, guys. Please stop this. Utter madness from you people. Next week we'll get you away from the water, or I might spend the week moving the game. We might do some movement, move the game over to Foundry. Giant enemy crab felled. Thank you everyone for watching the stream. I hope you had an enjoyable time. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for the subs, the gift subs, the resubs. While obviously they are silly and incentivized, I think they add a lot of fun to the game, regardless of whether it's what you want or what you not want. Trapped constantly, but obviously they really just simply pay my rent. They paid my rent, and I appreciate it very much. That'll do for this week, Pig. More D&D next Sunday, unless you'd like to tune in to some Table Story. We have shows on Table Story. Twitch.tv/Table Story is a D&D channel that I co-run with a couple of pals. There's a show tonight called Deathless. There's a show tomorrow called Gatewalkers. And there is a show on Thursday called Main Character. We also have a TTRPG sort of podcast that we're doing on Fridays at the moment. If you want to tune into that. And you'll listen to a couple of people talk about DMing and TTRPGs and Table Story and stuff. Very much appreciate you coming out and watching the stream. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Thought you were safe on land, huh? giant enemy crab. And I'll see you tomorrow. We're going to play some Minecraft hardcore. We're going to start building the wall. I know some of you are very excited about building walls. Tuesday we have No Man's Sky. Wednesday we're doing GTA 5 with the Chaos mod. And Thursday we're starting Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I've never played it. It's the 4th Zelda game I've ever played in my life. And so that will be starting on Thursday. I've still got to figure out how to capture it and everything. Ganon in the Manor. So tune in for that Thursday. Otherwise, I'll see you next week for more D&D or on Table Story or something. Peace out. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Check it
bye.
out. It's my voice, Sam the Rising.